Did you put your name down for the sign-in sheet?
I'm sorry, say it again?
You need a sign-in?
Man, what you got?
You did, okay.
Your Honor, I got a call from Miss Moore to represent Ryan McLean.
Oh, that's the spot.
Yeah, you might want to come in and talk about that one.
Okay. You gonna set a date for us, or PCC date, or?
We got a date for exam on
4/21/21.
April 21st.
April 21st.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
What time is it? 12.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Okay, is he in custody?
Yep.
Yeah, he's in Macomb.
And that's, you were appointed to, basically sit second chair and provide any legal assistance that he wants. He's gonna represent himself.
Okay, okay, stand by, counsel. All right, is a prosecutor there?
Yes, I am, Mr. Glenn.
Yeah, can you send me the discovery?
Hey, give me 1 second. Let me grab the pen, because I don't have the file on me right now, but let me make a note that you're now that you're now assisting counsel. This is Ryan McLean.
Can I get your P number, Mr. Glenn?
36794.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Glenn, I got your information down. I'll send you discovery, probably either today or tomorrow.
Okay, Your Honor, are we all set then?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.
Okay, you too.
Huh? You said Bob is
Yeah.
Here.
Zaranic?
Judge,
Oh, he's on Zoom, Matt.
What happened to, you got, other set for Zoom in person? Policy.
I think it was going to be in person, Judge, but we were just seeing if the officers were going to show up or waive.
The officers aren't here, Mr. Grant.
They are?
They are.
Okay. We can do a waiver if you like, Judge.
All right.
Spears. Ready on Edmund Spears. Calling case number 2060528, the people of the state of Michigan versus Edmund Spears. Defendant is charged with count 1, weapons carrying concealed. This matter is scheduled for examination.
Good morning, or good afternoon, Your Honor. Matthew Stola on behalf of people PA3358.
Bob Zaranic for Mr. Spears, Your Honor, P39346. Mr. Spears, can you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Edmund Spears.
Mr. Spears, your head wrap is for religious purposes?
Yes.
All right.
Judge, today's the day and time set for exam. I did speak with Mr. Spears with regard to his right to exam. Wishes to waive it at this time, be bound over to circuit court for further proceedings.
All right, Mr. Spears, you understand that you have a statutory right to a preliminary exam where the state must show by probable cause a crime was committed and probable cause you had something to do with committing that crime. You understand that, sir?
Can you repeat that one more time? It's kind of an echo on my phone.
Okay. You understand that you have a statutory right to a preliminary exam where the state must show by probable cause a crime was committed and probable cause that you had something to do with committing it. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Anybody promise you anything or threaten you in any way to get you to waive your right to preliminary exam?
No.
All right, you're waiving your right freely and voluntarily after having opportunity to talk to your attorney about it.
So does that mean that I won't be able to speak to you about my case, or I will just have to wait or something like that? Because I really don't know how to go about it, because I don't know exactly what I'm being charged with. Like all the way. I mean, I do know most of what my lawyer was explaining to me, but I was just trying to understand how it got to where it is.
You're being
As far
charged with carrying a concealed weapon. That's your charge.
as carrying a concealed weapon. I had my
Yes.
registration though. I mean, it's registered to me.
Well, they got to do anything.
I don't know. That's why I'm just trying to get the understanding, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's why you just got to talk to your attorney. I don't know the facts of your case.
Okay.
You know, some people, I can only say that, you know, some people, they come and believe that they are open carrying, but then they get in the car with their weapon. Okay,
Well,
they may even have it down on their hip, on their leg where you can see it. But if they get in the car, it's concealed.
no, what it was is
your shirt is concealed. I don't know what your circumstances were, huh?
I wound up picking it up from my house, and it was transported to my other house, and I actually told the officer it was in the car. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I was trying to. It didn't have any bullets or anything with the gun or anything.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I mean, depending on how you were transported, I can't tell you. You know, but you have to talk to your attorney about that. I can't give legal advice.
Yeah, I get you. I got you. You have a different job, but thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. All right. So, all right. You're waiving your right to exam after having opportunity. You're freely and voluntarily waiving your right after having opportunity to talk to your attorney. Is that correct?
An exam will be just to go through the process?
Yeah, the exam is just what I told you. It's a probable cause hearing.
Okay, yes.
It's the standard is low. It's not trial. You know, it just says you're going to go across the street and deal with this. All right. You still have all your rights to go to trial. Trial is a whole different story. Trial is beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I need an answer. You are waiving your right freely and voluntarily after having opportunity to talk to your attorney. Say yes. All right. And do you have any objection if the court signs your name to the waiver form?
No.
All right. Bob, do you have any objection if the court signs your name to the waiver form?
No objection, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. And the court will find that you freely and voluntarily waive your right to preliminary exam as filed over the Wayne County Circuit Court Criminal Division for arraignment on the information, which will be April 13th, 2021 at 9:00 a.m.
Your Honor, is it a possibility to get it a little later? Because I'm going on a family event. My family will be out of town, and we won't be back until the 16th of April.
Mr. Spears, I'll call you right when we're done.
Okay.
Yeah, one, they have to change that over in circuit court. I don't have any control over that.
Okay.
Over there. Two, you need to get permission from the court to leave the state.
Oh, I do. I didn't know I didn't know it was like a flight risk or anything like that.
No, I'm not saying you're a flight risk, but if you're on bond in the state of Michigan, you have to stay within the state of Michigan unless the court gives you permission to go. So.
Oh my God. So is there a way to contact somebody to find out about my family?
Yeah, your attorney will take care of it. Just talk to him about it.
Oh my God. I need to get this over with. So the only time that I'll be able to get this finished is the 16th of April. Because
next date. I don't know if it'll be finished with by then. I mean, is this a gun board case?
Yes, sir. I believe so.
Well, I gotta ask your attorney.
It was, Judge, and we've been working hard to get documents together, and that's what the delay's been.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, just talk to your attorney. He'll tell you what to do, what's the best way to handle it. You've been doing this a long time.
Okay.
All right. He's a good guy. He's a good attorney.
All right. I'm just trying not to prevent from myself having a felony because I'm going to school to be a nurse, and it's gonna kill my career. You know, so that's all I'm saying, Your Honor, and I appreciate your
Are
time.
you in now?
Huh?
Are you in school now?
Well, right now I'm actually on disability from work. I'm working at Amazon to pay for school, so I'm just on disability from work. So next semester I'll be in WC3. That's where I'm going right now, currently.
Okay, you already applied and been accepted, right?
Yes. All of that was.
Did you hold on? Did you give that documentation to your attorney?
He just asked me about some paperwork from school, and I've been trying to find some other paperwork for him. I sent him some paperwork from my disability, and other things.
Right, make sure you give them the paperwork on the school that shows you're going to nursing school, because they know.
I sent them a paperwork.
Hold on, you gotta listen. Because everybody in the court know if you're a nurse, you can't have anything on your record, nothing.
Exactly.
So give him that information. He'll do the best he can to get you in diversion. Diversion, they'll put you on probation for 6 months to a year, and then the case is dismissed. And it's gone. You don't have to worry about it. All right?
Yeah, that's the process we're trying to go through, Judge. We started last October. I was hoping to be done way before this, but I just got the last document today.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah, it was kind of hard for me to get the documentation from my lawyer because of the pandemic and things of that nature. So I've been trying, and I actually live in Arizona. Well, I've been staying in Arizona for the last few months, and I had to come back here for the court case, and then I don't have a ID or anything. So like you said, I'm not able to even do anything at this point, because that's where I'm trying to move my credits to go to school that is in Arizona. So I'm switching from WC3 to the schools in Arizona, which that's where like I told my lawyer, all of my documentations are still in Phoenix. So it's kind of hard for me to have the paperwork unless I have somebody take a picture of it and then send it to me, and then I email it to him. So that's how we kind of been going about it. But I'm working off of somebody else's time, sir. It's not really my.
Just keep in touch with your attorney, and he'll work with you. All right.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a great day. Take care.
All right. Sure. Mr. Chadwell.
Hi, Judge. The prosecutor is supposedly showing up by Zoom also.
Nothing I know of. Why?
Because we talked a few. Huh? Yes. And Bickerstaff.
Hold on. This your case?
No, Simmons is.
Why would she be? This is an in-person exam, isn't it?
I just saw her before I came in here.
Yeah.
She's
Well-
here.
Okay. Well, we can just talk real fast with the judge, and then you do what you got to do, Your Honor.
Where's your client?
That's why I'm not showing up, because I have never talked to him since he was last hearing.
Well, he may be here. I don't know.
Your Honor, I have the 230. I know that we have Bickerstaff's case. I know we have there's that two-bagger homicide that's probably going to take a while, so I'm going to stay out in the hallway. I don't want to work on the morning if necessary.
All
I'll
right.
be out there and ready for the 2:30 whenever we're ready to be home.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have Mr. Simmons? Or you? No, sure.
Mr. Simmons here, guys.
You check with me? No, that's the prosecutor right there. Right. That's
All right.
you have to check that.
When you call Simmons.
Calling case number 2060156, the people of the state of Michigan versus Ellis Simmons. Defendant is charged with Count one, controlled substance, delivery, manufacturing cocaine, heroin, or another narcotic, 50 to 449 grams. Count two, controlled substance, possession, cocaine, heroin, or another narcotic, 50 to 449 grams. Count three, controlled substance, delivery, manufacturing. Count four, controlled substance, possession. Habitual offender, second notice. This matter is scheduled for examination. Defendant has failed to appear.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Deanna Favor, staff on behalf of the people, P8221.
Please, this honorable court, George Chedro, P41732, on behalf of Mr. Simmons. Your Honor, I have been trying to get a hold of my client and the phone number provided. Whoever answers it, all they do is hang up every time I try to say something. And I sent him a letter a long time ago. I have not heard from him since the PCC, Your Honor.
All right, well, it shall enter. Any bond previously submitted shall be forfeited to bond set, 30,000 cash.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
And okay, we're off the record?
Yeah, well,
Okay, who's gonna win tonight?
technically, we're off the record. We're still on, Zoom and YouTube.
I just was wondering, who do you guys pick for tonight?
Wait, say that again?
I was just wondering, who you guys gonna pick for tonight?
Well, gotta vote. This is the only time you're gonna hear me say go blue, go gold.
Uh-oh.
What's
Have a good day.
I'll see you guys later.
All right, take care.
Bye, everybody.
Because you should know.
I don't.
Mr. Bishop,
Do that first.
What is?
can I help you, sir?
War.
Are you guys talking to me?
Yes.
I'm one of the witnesses for 150, for Nick Isho. I don't know if you, my nickname's Nick Isho.
Oh, okay. All right, just hold on, please.
No problem.
What case, Judge?
That's the two-bagger.
Oh,
That's the
Lipston
one the
and Roberts.
prosecutor asked
Oh.
me to allow him to testify.
All right.
Who's the prosecutor on Lipston and Roberts?
That's,
We have Mr. Richards here. Mhm.
What's his name? Jeffrey Palmel? Hello?
Okay.
I could give you guys a case number if you'd like.
No, we got
we
it.
got it.
Okay,
Just hold tight.
no problem.
All right. I can't do time stop me running.
Oh, that's right.
Harry, can you do me a favor?
Oh, yeah, made you forget money.
Put your system on mute, please.
You wouldn't have to drug or anything with you. I've got a witness who's got a pretty bad headache.
Really? Are you coming me? I think I got some.
I've been asking around outside. And look at that, I was right.
You reported that too, all right?
I will bring you some back.
All right. You never know what's going on.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah, thank you.
So we take your one that you're watching it, yeah, I will watch it. Is it? I mean, some people don't, but I do. Hey, did you see the game? You saw the Florida State? What is supposed to have all those? It's a guy on that team called, Barnes, right? Barnes will be the top 5 or 6 people get picked. He didn't get off at all. As a team, I'm saying, but you know, hey, what are you supposed to get your game on? Those shots were there, they're just real athletic. And that's what I tell them, I say, you want to be athletic, but you gotta get past. They, I mean, listen. It's hard. I forget how good this defense is. Hey, man. Let me see this permit. Just check it in. Yeah, John's really. That's like, dang. You know, you just need that playtime, that's all. And they said he was out, definitely, but I thought. If you thought that, if you wanted to. Sure, you're right. I think what you should do. I think take we did get less than two. Every time we lost, 2 times we lost. He's an X factor. I tell you. Get one and get one. Who thought that? No one thought that. He was undrafted. Look what he said. He's going to praise. Oh, man. Well, he's helped us out so much. So he knows how to cook. He really did. I'm so proud of him. He could do what he did as a player. This year, he did that. That's right. Yeah. I think we turned out this year was a pain. Do anything. He just didn't look good. They usually, you know, every year they got Eastern guys. It's gonna be interesting. I'll be right there at the end. Okay. Judge, what you wanna do? You want us to bring them in?
Yep.
Lipston and Roberts. Yeah. Right behind.
Judge Giles, do I have time to do a Zoom meeting with Judge Hathaway?
You may call him the case now.
And I'll just have to tell her I can't do, I know they're supposed to do it at 1 o'clock, I've been sitting on here for an hour. And I'm next. I just wanted to.
We're calling the case now, they're bringing everybody in.
Okay, I'm gonna just tell them I can't do it. Okay. It's a pretrial in another murder case.
Good afternoon, Judge. Good afternoon.
Calling case number 2060716, the people of the state of Michigan versus Michael Lipston Jr. Defendant number 1 is charged with homicide, murder, second degree. Count 2, reckless driving causing death. Count 3, child abuse, second degree. Count 4, child abuse, second degree. Count 5, child abuse, second degree. Count 6, reckless driving causing serious impairment of a body function. Count 7, reckless driving causing serious impairment of a body function. Count 8, reckless driving causing serious impairment of a body function. Habitual offender, third notice. The people of the state of Michigan versus Jeffrey Roberts. Defendant number 2 is charged with count 1, homicide, murder, second degree. Count 2, reckless driving causing death. Count 6, count 7, count 8, reckless driving causing serious impairment of a body function. This matter is scheduled for examination.
Please, this court, Judge the people, number 60711, could have come.
Judge Lau here on behalf of Michael Lipscomb, President of the Court, Judge, ready to proceed for the record. We just question people's votes.
Mr. Lipscomb, state your name for the record, please.
Michael Lipscomb Jr.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. May it please the court. On behalf of my client, Mr. Jeffrey Roberts, who's standing behind me to my right car. 256-972. Ready to proceed.
Mr. Roberts, state your name for the record, please.
Mr. Jeffrey Roberts.
Thank you, sir. All right, any preliminary issues?
Judge, we would join in with the defense as far as the sequestration of the I have witnesses, plenty of witnesses on the call, but all of them were outside of the courtroom. There is a victim advocate who's here for both the witness, the civilian, and the mother of a deceased child and injured child. However, I did not ask her to come in at this point because I don't know what the city capacity of the court is. I don't want to be so presumptive. I'm sorry.
We're past our capacity.
So that's, I do want to assume that. So she'll be outside, Judge, so I may have a little bit of light work to do with folks. I will ask the court's indulgence. As the court is aware, there is one witness who we testified on Zoom. I do, at some point, Judge, I do have a video that I believe will be image evidence of the actual event. And so to not accidentally mess, better way to put it, mess up the court's computer. I'm not gonna start my computer and get it going until we finish with that witness, because I don't want my computer.
All I need is a probable cause.
I know that.
Again, this is not a trial. I'm not gonna hold a trial.
I understand that.
Okay.
I just have one wrong, and I don't want to turn my computer on and interfere with this.
All right, you know, witnesses testifying today at a trial, anytime in the future must leave the courtroom, Zoom, and YouTube, or be denied their future testimony. We have a couple people on. Ma'am, that's on Zoom. Can you identify yourself, please? You put your camera on yourself. Last name is King.
There's just somebody there.
That's the witness. That's Mr. Bishop.
Is he muted, bro?
Hmm?
Is he muted or?
He's not muted right now.
Hello.
All right, just hold on.
Yep.
You turn it off.
Well, I was
gonna give Manny height.
I was just gonna turn it, move it that way. Yeah, that's what I was gonna, about move it right over. He's just blowing all my papers all over, so.
No problem. All right, any other preliminary issues? Who's your first witness?
Well, people are actually, we're gonna call the Zoom witness first, Judge.
All right. Any preliminary issues before we get started?
Yeah, I just renewed my objection as a regard to the Zoom witness, as I stated this morning on the record.
Judge, I'll join in co-counsel's objection. I would think in a murder case that we should be able to cross-examine people and have eye-to-eye contact.
Well, you usually cross-examine people, but you don't always get the eye-to-eye contact. And
Hey,
the
Judge.
right to confrontation is the cross-examination. Now, Patricia has some issues with COVID. I'm not gonna bring them in here, put my staff or you or anybody else in this building at risk. You know, so that's why I allowed them to be on Zoom. But your objections are noted for the record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
People would call him Nick Fleischer.
First name is Nawa Aisha.
Yes, sir.
Spell your name out, please.
N is in Nancy, A is in Apple, W is in Walter, A is in Apple, R is in Red. Last name is I is in Indigo, S is in Sam, H is in Henry, O is in Oscar.
Can you repeat that, please, the last part?
ISHO.
Yep.
All right, sir, raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Issue, first of all, it appears you're in a car, some
Yes.
kind of vehicle.
Yes, sir.
Is there anybody else in the vehicle with you?
No, sir. Nobody at all.
Okay. All right. You may proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Iso, do you sometimes go by the name Nick?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Iso, I want to take you back in time. I want to go back to September the 4th, 2020, city of Detroit, county of Wayne, area of, let's say 8 Mile Cherry Lawn, city of Detroit. Did you observe something that day? Is why you think you're in court?
Yes.
What's the first thing you remember observing that day?
2 cars racing and hearing loud noises of engines revving.
When you observed this, where were you?
I was outside on 8 Mile. So right at the end of our driveway.
Why were you outside on 8 Mile?
Right on at the end of our driveway, we have a spot open for vehicles to be delivered by tow. And that day I was having a vehicle delivered, so I was on the edge of the road.
When you say hour, I mean, is this at your work? Are you at home?
Work.
Okay. What kind of work is this?
A used car dealership right on the corner of 8 Mile in Wyoming.
What's the very first thing you two observed?
The first thing is I heard the noises of the car speeding.
And as far as those noises, could you tell from what direction those noises were coming from?
They were coming from west going east, so they were passing me by.
And what road would that be on?
It's on 8 Mile, Wyoming, so they were going towards Woodward. It would be east.
So what did you do after hearing those noises?
After about maybe like a couple minutes, I heard some tires screeching and a loud bang, which was about, I would say, maybe a quarter of a mile away from me. I didn't see what happened. I just heard the two cars just fly by, and I seen what kind of cars they were.
Okay, let's back up then a little bit. So you hear the noises. What's the very next thing you do after you hear those noises for the first time?
Look over at where it was coming from.
And when you looked over to where it was coming from, what did you see?
When I looked over, it was to my left at that moment at the traffic light. Two vehicles were like neck and neck passing by.
Were these vehicles moving or were they stationary?
They were moving. So there were a light before that is the Michigan turn to be on the Detroit side. And it's kind of, a lot of people always try to time that light because you could time it kind of perfect.
And you meant, what is the significance of the light, the Michigan light and the timing?
So the light on 8 in Wyoming was red at the time. And then once the light before that turns green, just a couple seconds after, that 8 in Wyoming light will turn green as well. So a lot of people, a lot of times, be timing it, you know, to like beat the light.
A lot of people regarding the light, not traffic expert, food instructor.
Now, was there one car or more than one car involved?
This is two cars.
Could you describe those two cars, please?
One was a red Challenger, and I noticed that it had a temporary tag sticker in the window. Looked like he just got it. Another vehicle was, I would say, between like a 03 and 05 Monte Carlo gray in color, two-door.
What happens, so you said you saw those vehicles, what do you see happen next with Wyoming and 8 Mile?
I just witnessed them flying by me, and then like I said, a short moment after, I heard a noise like a tire screeching, and then a loud bang, and then come to find out there was an accident down the street.
Now, when you say that they were flying by you, how were these vehicles moving in relation to? Well, be back on something. Was there other traffic on 8 Mile at this time?
Yeah. Oh, they blew by them.
Okay. When you say blew by, could you be able to elaborate just slightly what you mean by blew by?
The two lanes that they were in was kind of like the two lanes. So those lanes, they were the only occupants in those lanes. So when the light turned green, they were already passing the light. So they were already in motion before they even reached the light.
Okay. You said now that they were, okay, when you said they were side by side, were they, in those two lanes, were they side by side? Was one car ahead of the other?
No, they were side by side. They were like, the race was neck and neck, I could tell you.
After you go by, what happens next?
Oh, after it went by, I heard tires screeching, like I said, maybe a quarter of a mile down. So I want to say like maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds, no more than that I heard the noises. And that's when I called 911.
Oh, sir, could you remove your hat for us, please?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry, sir.
No problem.
Well, after you heard that, the screech and the noise, what did you do? What did you observe next?
I tried to look down the street, but it's kind of like, it looks like the road's going up, like not a hill, but like I couldn't really see anything down there. All I could see was smoke. That's it.
What did you do next?
I just called 911 dispatch to let them know that I heard a crash. I let them know what kind of vehicles were racing, but I did not know they were involved in the crash.
Did you ever come to a point that you go down the street toward this accident?
No, I did not. They had it blocked off. So right on 8 in Wyoming, they were directing traffic the other way. Any information that I learned about the wreck or what kind of cars it was from the police officer that was on the corner 8 Mile in Wyoming.
Okay, hold on. You just can't, you gotta wait for your question, please.
Listen here.
Let's
You didn't get it out.
Another question from the Senate.
Ronald.
Mr. Isho,
Yes, sir.
Isho?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you?
Okay. I want to understand, this place where you were at, this is where you work, correct?
Yes, sir.
What's the name of the dealership?
Alliance Motors.
Okay, I'll
What's the relevance?
move on. And what was but this is a used car dealership, correct?
Yes, sir.
And how do you work there? What capacity?
What's the relevance?
Like, what is my job title here?
Hold on,
Well.
hold on, what is the
I
relevance?
he's talking about that, because he's talking about cars racing. I want to see what experience he has with cars that he concludes that they're racing, so I mean, I kind of want to.
When you can ask that,
All right,
what he does for a living is not
all
relevant.
right, okay. This business is, the driveway is right off 8 Mile Road, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you were standing at the time of this incident, you were standing at the edge of the driveway?
Right on, pretty much on the street.
Okay, because you were waiting for a vehicle to come in, so you were like looking for it, is that it?
No, the tow driver was in front of my shop. So he was already in the street and I was with him.
Okay. So where is the tow truck driver in relation to where you're standing?
Right in front of, like, there's a bus lane. So right in the bus lane, there's our driveway right after. And after our driveway, there's a little spot on the shoulder where you could park at.
Do you know this tow truck driver, if you were to see him again?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They deliver our vehicles all the time.
Okay. Is he an employee of your store, or is he just an independent guy?
No, it's a third-party employee. Like, he has his own tow company.
Okay. Other than you and the tow truck driver, was there anybody else at the end of that driveway at the time of this incident?
No, sir.
Where was the tow truck driver? Was he in his vehicle, or when this incident happened, or what? Where was he?
He was in the vehicle on the ramp pulling the truck down.
At the time, he was pulling the vehicle at the time of the incident?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Was the tow truck, was that blocking your view?
No.
I'm talking about a 8 Mile Road.
I'm sorry?
Was the tow truck, when it was doing that, was that blocking your view of 8 Mile Road?
No, sir.
Okay. So you indicated the first thing that you hear is the noise, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what kind of noise did you hear?
It sounded like someone had the acceleration to the floor.
Okay. So at that point in time, when you heard the noise, the vehicles were not in your sight, is that about right?
If I looked to the left, yes, I could see them. They were coming eastbound on 8 Mile, so I had full sight of the vehicles and everything.
Okay. And this was about what time?
To be honest, I don't even remember the day. I think it was like around afternoonish.
Okay. And what was the weather like, if you remember?
It was like maybe cloudy a little bit, no rain, nothing like that.
So far as you know, the pavement was not wet, is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Dry.
Yes, sir. They were dry.
And at some point in time, is there when you eventually see these two cars pass by, that's where your testimony is, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are there other vehicles? Are you still there with us?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Are there other vehicles coming down the same direction anywhere near these two cars?
There were maybe I want to say 2 car lengths behind. About.
Behind these two that you're talking about, right?
Behind these two, yes, sir.
Okay. Did you pay any attention to how fast those other cars were going?
No, sir.
Now, you indicated that you think, in your opinion, that you think that these cars are racing, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How do you come to that conclusion that they were racing as opposed to just two cars driving fast. What do you
Just-
say? What are you relying on?
Just the way the way the engine sounded, it sounded like the gas pedal was to the floor. Like any vehicle you hop in, if you gun it, you're gonna hear from the outside the engine, working. So with those two cars, it sounded like they were, all the way to the ground because I could hear the engine is powerful. And they're both were like, I think V6 motors too.
How do you know that they were V6s?
It didn't sound like anything beefy. When I looked at it, it looked like a regular Challenger SXT 3.6, and it looked like a older Monte Carlo. It couldn't be more than a 6-cylinder.
So you have some expertise in so far because of your job and you know that what engines go with what cars? Is that what you're saying or what?
Yes, sir.
But you didn't know these two people, right?
No, sir.
Okay. And it could have just been two people were driving fast on 8 Mile Road, not necessarily racing. Isn't that possible?
I would say they were racing,
All right.
to be quite honest.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is on 8 Mile, I see a lot of traffic, and believe me, there's cars going by flying all day, every day. So I know the sounds of them, and
Yeah.
I've been quite familiar with sounds of vehicles like 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, stuff like that when they're flying by. So at that moment, it sounded like they were pedal to the metal. It doesn't sound like you just hear tires on the ground,
Right, okay. But you don't know for 100% sure, correct? They could have just been both driving fast and not racing each other. Isn't that possible?
To be honest, if you blindfold me, I could tell you if a car's racing down the street or driving normal.
Okay.
That's how pretty sure I am.
Do you have any experience? Do you have any experience yourself racing cars?
Irrelevant.
No, I mean,
Hold on.
yeah.
Okay.
What's
All
the
right, I'll move on.
Thank you.
Okay. So you see these two cars coming past you at a high rate of speed, but you were able to determine the make and the model of the cars, correct?
Yes, sir.
How long do you think you actually had vision, that you were able to see these cars to make that determination? How many seconds would you say that you saw them?
Like 20 seconds.
20 seconds. And once you saw them, you indicated at the time of the crash, you no longer could see the vehicles, correct?
No, sir.
Because there was like an incline on 8 Mile Road?
Yeah, it's kind of like a little horizon, so I couldn't really see anything, just seen smoke.
Does it incline up or incline down where you couldn't see?
Inclines a little bit up, like a hill.
So how far would you say that those cars, how far would you say those cars went, once they passed you at the driveway? How far would you say they went before you lost sight of them, if you know?
Probably, I want to say 1/4 of a mile, no more than 1/2 of a mile.
And you indicated that that's the last you saw of these cars once they disappeared about 1/4 mile to 1/2 mile. Were you watching them going all the way down 8 Mile Road?
No, it was like a good 30 seconds where I glanced at them, seeing what they were doing, seeing them pass by me, and that's it.
Okay. So, who's that?
The person that was on before.
See?
Says Belitha King. Ma'am,
Yeah.
what's your name?
Belitha King.
Put your camera so I can see you, please. Adam, does he have anything to do with this case? Mr. King?
We have a King at 2:30.
Huh?
We have Antonio King at 2:30.
Oh, okay. You're here regarding Antonio King?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you weren't involved in the case we're doing now. But you can stay on. Just put your system on mute, please.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Has the attorney talked to him yet?
I have received
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Isho, you can hear me still, right?
I don't know if the attorney is.
Mr. Isho?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we established that you're looking down 8 Mile Road after the speed pass, somewhere between 1/4 mile and 1/2 mile. They went on an incline downhill, is that what you said? or
Uphill. Uphill.
you could no longer see the cars.
No,
And then
sir.
you say you heard a boom. Is that about correct?
Yes, sir.
And you were not able to see the crash. We established that, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you make an attempt to walk down there, or did you just stay in your driveway and call 911 or what?
No, I was just in my parking lot, called 911. I was the only one here at the time working, so
Okay.
I wasn't able to leave anywhere.
So, okay. So obviously the police cordoned it all off anyway, so you never went down and you never saw the crash scene, correct?
No, sir.
Did you, because this might have been on the news, on TV, did you see any news reports?
I ended up,
Because could it affect his testimony if he saw this on the news, Judge? I don't
He
know.
testified what he saw, which is not a
Okay.
whole lot.
Okay. So you're, court's overruling me on that?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you.
no problem.
Yeah, all right, Judge.
That's it.
Good afternoon, Mr. Iser.
How you doing?
Good. My name is Ray Richards, and I represent Mr. Roberts. Can you hear me fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You indicated on cross-examination that when you saw the two cars going down the road, that there were cars only 2 lengths behind you, correct?
Yes.
Or approximately. Okay. And that's coming down coming down 8 Mile going east, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you were on the same side of the road as the 2 cars passing you, or on the other side?
On the Detroit side.
Okay. And what side were they on? They were on the.
They were on the Detroit side as well. So over on next, you would have the median, and then you had Ferndale side.
Okay.
On 8 Mile.
So you said that you claimed that the 2 cars were, in your opinion, racing, and there were 2 cars, or there were cars that were approximately 2 car lengths behind you, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is continuous traffic, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I believe you said it's your contention that these individuals were racing, but they couldn't have just been driving fast with other traffic. That's your opinion or your contention, correct, as you sit here today?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So, a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you did not see a crash, correct?
Yes, sir.
You heard a crash, correct?
I heard it. Yes, sir.
Okay. And after the cars passed you, from that point until you heard something that you claimed was a crash, you didn't see or observe the cars, correct?
Yes, sir.
I believe you said after they passed you, there was about 10 to 15 seconds passed, and then you heard noises, but you didn't
Yes, sir.
see what happened, correct? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you also indicated that you heard the engines racing, correct? Or at least
Yes, sir.
the release of the engine, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you say racing engine, just to be clear, are you trying to say that, or are you saying that the RPMs were high and the engine RPMs were higher, therefore you could hear the engine rolling in a sense, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, also, being in the business of used cars, there are also mufflers that are on certain vehicles that are louder to make the car louder, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in this case, you didn't have an opportunity to one way or the other inspect either vehicle, correct?
No. No.
You couldn't tell whether the engine had been tuned to a higher rate of RPMs or not, correct?
No, sir. But the way the vehicles look.
And you had not inspected the vehicle as to take into consideration if there was an exhaust that made the car louder, correct?
No,
you didn't
sir.
do that inspection, correct?
No, sir.
Last time you saw those vehicles is when they passed you, and after then, you just heard what happened.
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Okay. Now, as it regards the vehicles. You saw the vehicles, but you didn't see any individuals inside the vehicle, correct?
The only person I could really see the head shape of is the Challenger.
Okay. You just saw the shape of a human head, correct?
That's it, yeah. That's the only one I could, that was the car closest to me.
And you couldn't give a description of that head, only to indicate that it was a head of a human person.
Yeah, that's all.
Right. That's it?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
what about the car windows? Were they tinted?
I'm sorry?
The windows of the vehicles that you saw pass you on 8 Mile, were the windows of those vehicles tinted?
No.
No tint on those vehicles?
It could have been a light shade, but it was enough for me to see a full person in there.
A full person or their head?
It was like a full person in the driver's seat.
Okay, just a minute ago, you testified to someone's head, that's the only thing you could see. So now you're
Yes,
saying
sir.
that you can see a full person?
Yeah. Not a full person from like the waist down, like from the, the head up, I can see like shoulders, head, ears, eyes, everything.
Okay.
But nothing to make identification on,
Absolutely. Last question.
Mhm.
Did you fill out a report or a statement in this case? Did you write out a statement?
The only thing I did was call and give them my thing over the phone, and that's it. And told them what happened. That's all.
That's it. So you didn't, did you happen to meet with anybody?
No, sir. No, sir. The only thing I received was the paper when the officers delivered it to me. That's the last thing I heard about it.
So no one came out and took a statement from you where they wrote what you said happened and or
No.
you wrote down what happened and signed it?
Not that I remember, no.
Okay. And the first time you're meeting the prosecutor is here in this courtroom over Zoom?
Yes. I received the paper from 2 officers that came, I want to say like 3-4 days ago.
Okay.
Or maybe a week ago. I can't remember. But that's the only time I received that paper, and I didn't know I had to come to this until that.
Okay. But they didn't interview you either, correct? They didn't
No,
serve
sir.
you?
Yes, sir.
No further question.
All right, thank you. Commissioner, you can sign off now.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Have a good day. Be safe. Go to the next witness.
Patricia Allen, unless you text the advocate.
Your name?
Patricia? Yes. Like Gerald, Patricia.
Want to step over there? Okay. Can you raise your right hand? You swear or affirm that the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Right? You pull the door towards you. You can have a seat. All right, Ms. Allen, you're going to be asked a series of questions by the prosecutor. The defense attorney probably ask some questions. I may or may not ask questions, all right? You have to answer all your questions out loud, verbally, using words.
Okay.
This case, you can get everything being recorded.
Okay.
All right, also, if you ask the question, just answer the question and stop.
Okay.
If it's a yes or no type question, it's a yes or no. If they need additional information, they'll just ask you another question.
Okay.
Right? We all have a tendency when we talk about something, especially event that may have been traumatic to us, we tend to wrap it. We'll say this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened. If we do that, I'm gonna miss something. I know nothing about the case, but what I hear. Okay? So that's why we just do one question, one answer, then we're not gonna stand with that.
Okay.
Okay?
And last but not least, because of all the mask barriers, it's kind of hard to hear. So I need you to keep your voice up. You can talk right directly into that microphone and we'll help amplify your voice. You put it down a little bit. Okay. All right, thank you.
Commissioner Judge,
Yes, sir.
could you please state your name again for the record, ma'am?
Patricia Allen,
Ms. Allen, I have to ask you, what is your date of birth?
11/17/1957.
I want to go back in time with you, Ms. Allen, to September the 4th, 2020, in the area of 8 Mile and Cherry Lawn in the city of Detroit, county of Wayne. Let's say roughly 3 o'clock in the afternoon. To your knowledge, did you have occasion to be on 8 Mile in around 3 o'clock on September the 4th, 2020?
Yes.
No, but just let's go back just a little bit in time. Kind of, what were you doing that led up to you being on 8 Mile?
What's wrong with it? Why do I need that? Again, this is not trial. This is exam. I need the deal.
Okay, fair enough. You were on 8 Mile, Judge? You were on 8 Mile, Miss Allen?
Yes, I was.
Eastbound or westbound?
Are you going towards Woodward or going towards Wyoming?
I end up going toward Woodward.
The eastbound, or take additional.
Let me ask you, where were you going?
The neighborhood.
I was going to the beauty shop.
Do you remember the name of the beauty shop?
Salon, Baco, I think that's it.
Where's that?
It's on 8 Mile, and I want to say Cherry Line.
Now, is that beauty shop, is that in Detroit, or is it on the other side of 8 Mile, which would be in Ferndale?
I think it's in Detroit.
Now, you were driving to that beauty shop, was anyone else in the vehicle with you?
No,
What type of vehicle were you driving?
I was driving a Ford Escape.
Remember the year of that vehicle?
I want to say 2021.
What's the now, Judge, this is, I think, relevant to.
You can ask a question, I'll make a determination what it is right here.
Before you were on 8 Mile, what road, this road were you on?
On the road.
Judge, I think it goes forward, when there was an earlier question as far as which direction she was going, I think it would have to
You're
go.
testifying she's going eastbound.
I
On 8 Mile, it's Detroit side, going towards Woodward. Going towards Woodward. Believe me, I'm very familiar with the area. Walk there from my home.
I don't doubt that, Judge. I just believe that, this will elicit an answer, which would follow the questions which may, I want to be careful saying too much in front of the witness. That's where I'm a little hesitant right now. Which may ask her to revisit that answer.
All right, go ahead.
Remember what road you were on before you were on 8 Mile?
I was on 75 going downtown.
Okay. Did you exit I-75 onto a road?
I exit 75 at 8 Mile going west.
Okay, so you're going westbound on 8 Mile? There'll come a time. What's the last thing you remember doing on westbound on 8?
Last thing that I remember was that I had there's a light, and I think it's Cherry Line, that I had to turn on. And that's all I remember.
You don't remember, is the last thing you remember? Do you ever remember going eastbound on 8 Mile?
I know I know I had to turn.
Okay. Do you ever remember taking the turn and going eastbound on 8 Mile?
That's all I remember.
What's the next thing that you do remember?
I woke up in the hospital and the nurse told me that I was in the car.
Do you know, as far as when you said you woke up in the hospital, do you know if this was this on September the 4th, or do you know if it was a different day?
It had to be a different day. She told me,
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance of what the nurse told her in the date, and just the elements of this or any of the things. We're going to get notice here, State Judge. Just-
You were in the hospital, do you know how many days total you spent in the hospital?
from what I'm told, I had been.
Objection, Your Honor.
Well,
I was right.
you remember how many days you were in the hospital?
From what I'm told, I was in the hospital too.
Now, you were in that vehicle, and I apologize if I asked this, was anyone else in the vehicle with you?
No,
Do you have any, child seats or any children's items in that vehicle?
no,
You said you were in the hospital for 2 weeks. You recall some of the injuries that you had during that time? Let me back up slightly. Were you conscious those entire 2 weeks?
no.
Do you recall some of the injuries that you had?
My arm was broken in 2 places. There was blood in my lungs where they inserted a tube to drain the blood out of my chest and my lungs.
You ever remember, did you ever see the vehicle you were driving, did you ever see it again?
I think it maybe in the end of October or the beginning of November when I happened to see it on a video that someone had recorded at my house on the news.
No further questions at this time.
Ms. Allen, good afternoon. I have a few questions. If you don't understand, I'll try to be as straightforward as I can. If you don't understand my question, let me know, okay?
Okay.
All right. You had, at the time of this incident, did you have a valid driver's license?
Yes, I did.
At the time of this incident, were you under the influence of any kind of alcohol, drugs, anything like that?
No, I was not.
I gotta ask you.
Okay.
Okay. Do you wear corrective lenses, like contact?
I do.
Were you wearing the glasses when you were driving?
Yes, I did. The glasses got lost in the accident.
So you used them for driving?
I put them on for driving, yes.
Okay. If I may ask, are they for nearsightedness? Farsightedness? For like reading glasses?
I do have a bifocal lens, yes.
Okay. And you had them on. Did you have your seatbelt on?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Now, you indicated that your arm was broken in 2 places, correct?
Yes.
Not healed up, right? I said your arm is healed up since this, right?
It's getting there, yes.
All right. Now, you don't have any recollection of the accident itself, right? You were just driving along, and the next thing you know, you woke up in the hospital. Is that basically correct?
That's correct.
But you did indicate that you saw a video of the accident at some point?
Yes.
Judge, she didn't misstate your testimony.
No, I don't know.
She did not say that she saw video of the accident. She said she saw video
Saw
of
a video of the vehicle
Car.
after, her car after the accident.
Okay, so you never saw a video of the accident?
No.
Okay, but, well, your car, right?
Yes.
And it was totaled? You said it was a 2021 vehicle?
I think it was 2021. I just.
Brand new, okay. That's all I had.
You're gonna have no questions of the town.
All right, thank you. Any redirect?
I have no redirect, Judge.
All right, thank you, Ms. Allen.
Judge, at this time, I've marked people's proposed exhibit number 1, which is medical records for Miss Allen. I'll let her leave for you're free to go. I would move to their admission, Judge. Based on her testimony, I don't think this needs to be a highlight really any further, because I can't pronounce half of the terms anyway.
Judge, for the exam only, stipulate.
Stipulation for exam purposes only.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I admit it, I gotta look at it.
Oh, I know, Judge. I just didn't know how you want me to.
Give me 1 second. You get the next witness tonight.
I will do that. This one, since you're gonna need a second, we walk out.
You swear or affirm that the whole truth and nothing but the truth shall follow.
I didn't hear your answer. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, please, Ms. Darnell, right?
Yeah.
Ms. Darnell, you're gonna be asked a series of questions. First by the prosecutor, then by the defense attorney, and I may or may not ask questions, all right? You have to answer all your questions out loud verbally using words. Just in case they get it. I say, everything's being transcribed, all right? Also, when you ask a question, I need you to just answer the question and stop. If it's a yes or no type question, just say yes or no. If they need additional information, you have to be answered, look at that question. Okay? The order of tendency, when we're talking about some event, especially that event, traumatic, you send around. This happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and you go on like that. All right? If you do that, I'm doing this one. And I know nothing about this case because I have what I hear, okay? So I think that's why we can see by one question, one answer, as I can understand it. Okay? So also, because of the math and the barrier and all that, I need to please try to keep this way up. So everybody can hear you. You talk directly into that microphone there and without amplifying. And if it gets to be a little bit too much, you need to take a break. Stop it. Stop. Okay? All right. Thank you. Good to see you.
Thank you. Could you please state your name again for the record, ma'am?
Ronald.
Can you hear me okay? All right, if at any point you can't hear me, definitely let me know. Mrs. Darnell, have you had children? How many children have you?
3.
Could you tell me your children's names and then their date of births?
McCarr Lipston, 6/24/14. Mikhail Lipston, 2/23. Mikhail Lipston, 6/24/14. Mikhail Lipston, 2/23/16. Meyer Lipston, 11/15/17.
And did each of those children, their
their names begin M-I and a hyphen?
M-I apostrophe.
Apostrophe. An apostrophe, thank you. Now, I have to ask you, are all your children still with us?
No,
Which of your children is no longer with us?
Meyer,
You know the date in which he passed?
September 4th, 2020.
Father of the three children, who's the father?
Michael Lipston.
Do you see Michael Lipston in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Could you point to him and describe what kind of clothing he's wearing today?
He has a purple, pinkish, button up with braids to the back and a black and white hat.
You have a record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant, Michael Lipscomb, in this manner? Can you tell us when's the last time you remember seeing your children?
I seen my year, the night of September 3rd, and I seen Makai and Mikhail. I seen them September 4th leaving out, going to work.
Was that you that was going to work?
Yes.
When you, at that time, were you living with your three children?
Yes.
Were you living with anyone else?
Your father.
And that would be Michael?
Yes.
When you left, you said to go out to work the morning of September the 4th, was Michael in the home?
Yes.
At that time, and you said you left to go to work, how did you go to work?
In my car.
What kind of, do you have does Michael have a different car than yourself, or do you,
Yes.
what kind of car does he have?
He has
What, let me ask you
Josh.
better, sorry, I'm gonna ask you a slightly more better question. What type of car did he have on September the 4th, 2020?
Josh Sullivan.
Remember the color of it?
No, I can't.
What was the color of the vehicle? Pardon?
Burgundy.
Did that vehicle have like regular license plates on it, like the metal ones that you put there kind of beneath the truck?
No.
I mean, I got back of this thing, what kind of vehicle, what was their burgundy? I stopped it before we.
Oh, I think she answered, but I can answer again. Could you tell us the make, model of the vehicle?
A Dodge Challenger.
And he was asking about did it have the metal license plate made of plastic now? Those license.
No.
Do you know how it was license it displayed or where it displayed it?
Paper plate. Back window, I believe the top left, maybe top right, I'm not sure.
Now, as far as the three children, child seats, did you have child seats for each of the three children?
No.
Well, how did you do the child seats for the three kids?
My year had a car seat, Mikhail had a booster seat, and Makai didn't have a seat. We had just switched them out. Mikhail took Makai's seat, and my year took Mikhail's seat. Then we didn't get Makai a car seat at the time.
The morning that you left, the morning of September the 4th, where were those two child seats? If I understood you correctly, there's two child seats. Let me be more specific. There's a booster for Mikhail and a seat for my hair.
Yes.
Where was, when you left the house that day in your vehicle, where was my hair's child seat? Was it in your
In
car?
my car.
And the booster seat?
Was in Michael's car, I believe.
And was it in your car?
No, it wasn't in my car.
So you had the child seat?
Yeah.
You own any other child seats other than the two that you just described for us?
Was there any other?
Yes.
Yes.
Where were those?
One was in the house.
Okay. What kind of seat was that?
It was I believe, it was the car seat for the baby, like up to a year-old car seat.
Okay. Up to a year old?
Yeah.
Were you using that one anymore?
No, that's the one my year was not in anymore. He outgrown it.
You want to work that day?
Yeah.
Something happened, no points, you left work that day?
Yeah,
Where did you go?
to the gas station.
Did you ever have the occasion to end up in the area of 8 Mile and Cherry Lawn in the city of Detroit that afternoon?
Yeah.
Why did you go to that location?
I received a phone call about 1:55 in the afternoon stating that
And say what it said. You just say you received a phone call, and then what did you do based on getting that phone call?
I rushed out of my job and I went to the scene.
And when you got to that scene, what did you observe?
I seen a lot of people surrounding the area. As I walked up towards 8 Mile, I seen Michael laying on the ground. I seen the car on the wall. I went to the car. I didn't see no one. Then I looked over and I seen my son, my oldest son, Makai Lipston, laying on the ground. I ran over to him and I was yelling, "Where's my other two kids? Where's my other two kids?"
Let me show you. Mark the people proposed 2 and 3. I'm gonna start off with people's proposed number 2. Right in that photograph, does that look familiar?
Yeah.
Why does that look familiar?
It's the other car.
People's proposed 3. Does that look familiar?
Yeah.
Why does that look familiar?
It's the back of his car.
Is this how that vehicle looked at that, when you were on scene that day?
Yeah.
Move for permission of people's.
I get three at the back of what?
So back of my his father's car.
And move for the revision, Judge?
Oh.
Man, there's
somebody who witness on the issue. Just want to watch you the witness on the issue.
As to those exhibits?
Yes. Well, particularly the one with the back of the car.
Right.
Okay.
You want her together?
Well, my question to you is, did you actually see the back of the car? What about the picture of the back of the car with no damage, right?
Sorry again?
You're looking at a picture of the back of a car with no damage on it, correct?
Right.
Okay. Are you saying that you actually saw the car where it's parked there in that picture?
Yeah.
Okay, and where is it parked?
It's against the wall.
I mean, where is it? I mean, what location was it parked in?
That's
Okay, that's a
8 Mile.
cross-examination. We gotta do the picture.
Well, okay, I can save it for cross. All right, Judge, you're identifying the vehicle, correct?
Yeah.
All right. No objection, for example.
No objection for purposes.
All right, both be admitted.
What happens next when you're at the scene?
I was yelling, "Where's my kids?" A lady grabbed me and told me that.
Objection, soldiers.
Can't say what other people said. Only people can say something, if they said something, is, Michael, or Michael Lipston, or Jesse Roberts.
So someone spoke to you?
Yeah.
As a result of them speaking to you, what did you do then?
I just went back to Makai's side and I told him that it was going to be all right and I was here and I was letting him know that I was here.
There come a time when, I'm just gonna refer to it as like emergency people came and took him?
Yeah. We got into the, ambulance.
As far as Michael is concerned, Michael Lipston, there come a time that you observe him being taken also by emergency.
No, he was still on the ground.
Did you ever have an opportunity to, well, after the emergency people took your son, what did you do then?
I was in the car with them.
Okay, they took you in the raising, put it
Yeah.
right quick. Did you have to go to the hospital, with him?
Yeah.
Now, you said you had 2 other children. The next time you saw your 2 other children, well, let me specific with you, a little more specific. Like Cal, when's the next time you saw Mike Cal?
I want to say about 4:30ish. They brought him, he went to Sinai Grace Hospital, and Sinai Grace transferred him over to Children's Hospital. And I seen him when they brought him in.
Now, in the end, with Kai, your youngest child,
Hi,
your
yeah.
oldest child, my mistake, I'm looking at a list here, I apologize. Your oldest, what type of injuries did you have that, when did he have?
He had, a fractured lumbar, his lower back, he had a spine injury on his neck, towards his neck, which caused him to have a halo for, 7 months. He had part of his intestines, removed. He had his appendix removed. His right wrist was fractured.
My hair, right?
No,
No, who is on?
okay,
Makai.
no.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
And,
Anything else you remember?
brain, they really not saying if it was a brain injury or not. They just said that he, was on the autism spectrum.
McCall,
McCall.
your middle child.
Mikhail, he had a lower lumbar injury as well, and he had his right wrist fractured.
And then your oldest child, was deceased, oh, excuse me, your youngest child was deceased?
Yeah.
You did that, going to the medical examiner's office, to make identification. Did you ever have an opportunity, well, after this accident scene, after you left that scene, did you ever have opportunities to speak with Michael about what happened?
Yeah,
Did you speak to him about what happened on one occasion or more than one occasion?
more than one occasion.
The first occasion that you had a chance to speak to Michael, do you remember how long after these events that you spoke to him?
It was the night of the accident.
What did he tell you? Did he tell you what happened?
He told me he was driving to go see his mother.
Did he tell you anything else?
No, I told him to stop lying. That's not what happened. I was told that.
But don't tell us what you were told. Just focus on what he told you.
He was just saying that he wasn't racing, he wasn't speeding, he was, on his way to see his mother.
Did you speak to him after that first night? Did you ever speak to him again?
Yeah.
Approximately how long after this crash that you spoke to him?
I would say about 3, 4 days later.
What did he tell you 3 or 4 days later? That's everything you remember him saying.
He wasn't speeding, all the kids was strapped in. At the time of the accident, he was doing less than, he said he was doing less than 60.
Were you say anything else?
No.
After this, we'll call it the second time you talked to him, 3 or 4 days later, did you ever speak to him again?
Yeah.
And approximately how long after the accident was that?
I'm not really taught often, most of the time it's when me and district school. So we really didn't have much conversation about the accident.
Did he ever say anything else to you about the accident?
No.
Now, Jeffrey Roberts, do you know Jeffrey Roberts?
Yeah,
How do you know Jeffrey Roberts?
that's my cousin.
And when you were at that scene that day on September the 4th, 2020, did you see him at the scene?
Yeah.
And did you talk to him? Did he speak to you when you was at that scene?
Partially, yeah.
You say partially, what do you mean?
He was talking to me and then he got cut off by the officer.
What did he say to you?
He came looking for his phone. He was saying that he came back to get his phone. Then an officer came in and was asking him questions.
Okay. After the scene, after the time at the scene, did you ever talk to him about what happened after you were at that scene with him?
Yes.
Approximately how long after the crash did you speak to him?
I'm not sure if it was that night or maybe a few days later.
What did he tell you?
I asked him to tell me the truth and asked him what happened.
What did he say?
He said he was on 8 Mile and Myers.
Just for the record, courthouses, just over against the court.
No. Oh, it's not against your client.
I'm gonna object to that for the record.
Well, what
Because-
legal,
Well.
is a statement made by your client against his interest more than likely?
No, this is a statement from the co-defendant, as I understand.
No, this is a statement, he asked, what did Mr. Roberts
Right.
say?
It's the co-defendant.
I represent Mr. Roberts, Judge. And I wish I could have an objection under circumstances.
Oh, okay, okay,
So-
that's Mr. Roberts, that's Mr. Roberts.
My client's in a wheelchair.
Yeah, Judge.
Oh.
We switched because I'm left-handed.
Yeah, that's right, we did do that, Judge.
Okay.
So I'm objecting for any of this evidence coming against.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
that's, yeah.
Thank you, Judge.
I wouldn't hold anything that Mr. Roberts said against Mr. Lipton, or anything Mr. Lipton said about Mr. Roberts.
Thank you, Judge.
I just, you were switching the seats threw me off. All right, I got you, thank you.
Next, let me ask before you get going. You see Jeffrey Roberts in court today?
Yes, sir.
Did you point to and describe what he's wearing today?
He was black, all black, suit with a black man.
You're gonna be a record reflect witness identify defendant Jeffrey Roberts.
Record story black.
Before I asked you to identify, I asked you if you spoke to him after the scene, what he said to you, and then we got a little sidetracked. But then I'll ask you that again. What did he say to you?
He said that, he was apologizing, that he didn't mean for my, he didn't mean to cause, well, he didn't mean for my son to pass away, and he was very sorry. And like I said, I asked him to tell me the truth and asked him what happened. He told me that he was on his way somewhere. He was on 8 Mile and Myers. Michael pulled up on the side of him and they were talking back and forth. Michael was supposed to be following Jeffrey somewhere, and I guess they ended up talking about racing somewhere or getting in a race. Jeffrey said that once he did it, once they got to Wyoming and, no, I'm sorry, 8 Mile, not 8 Mile and Myers, it was like the light between Wyoming and the light between Myers. They started right there, and his car wouldn't go over 75.
You said his car.
Yeah.
His.
Jeffrey.
Okay. You see anything else?
He said when Michael swerved in front of him, or I can't remember exactly, but I believe Michael swerved in front of him, which is what made Jeffrey slowed down more. And next thing you know, Marcus swerved back over and ended up hitting the lady.
Is there anything else?
That's when he stopped. He pulled over and ran and tried to help and see what was going on. And that's when he seen Michael leaning, trying to get the kids out. And he ended up grabbing my hair and Mikhail and taking them to the hospital.
Did you ever talk to him? Did you say anything else this time?
No.
Did you ever talk to him about did you ever talk to him after that about what happened?
Yeah.
Did he say anything, was it say in addition to what you already told us or different than what you already told us?
No.
Same thing, basically?
I'm sorry, yeah.
That's okay, okay. Questions this time around?
Well, questions for you, try to be as straight as I can. If you don't understand what I'm asking, please let me know. Okay, the gentleman you know is Mr. Lipscomb. These children are yours, all three children are yours and his?
Yes, right.
Okay. So before the accident, were the two of you living together in a relationship? Okay. Did that change any after the accident? Well, witness bias is always relevant, Judge, and if this caused them to break up their relationship, it could affect the bias of witness. That's what I'm getting to. What?
No.
I can't hear you.
I don't agree with you, no.
You're not gonna let me get it?
No, I'm not gonna.
All right, thank you, Judge. All right.
That may be an issue at trial.
Okay. Okay, but we've established that the two of you were living together before the accident, right? And you said that Mr. Michael, we call him Michael. Michael was driving a red, or you call the color? Burgundy what? What kind of car?
Burgundy
Challenger. Did he just drive that car, or did you drive that car at all?
I drove it once or twice.
Now, you had indicated that these children at the time of the accident, of course, the baby was 2 years old, is that right?
Yeah.
And the other children were how old?
At the time of the accident,
Yes.
6 and 4.
Now, the morning of did you see that car that morning?
No.
You did not. Okay. Do you remember how long before the accident, when the last time it was you saw that car?
The night before.
Now, you indicated that you didn't see so the morning of the accident, you did not see what baby seats may or may not have been in the back seat. Is that a fair statement?
Correct.
And you were at work. You heard about this?
Yeah.
I don't want to know where you work, but what kind of work do you do?
I'm an toddler teacher.
I didn't hear that.
The infant and toddler teacher.
What is that?
I work at, this basically a daycare. I work at my kid's school.
All right. So you drove over there, right? You drove over to 8 Mile Road, right?
Yeah.
I gotta ask you something. Were you under the influence of any kind of drugs or alcohol or anything?
No.
And when you got there, your testimony is you saw the scene, correct?
Yeah.
The police let you through?
Yeah.
And where was the car, the red car at? As you said, the burgundy car, where was it at when you saw it?
It was, I guess, it was on the sidewalk, on the wall.
It was off 8 Mile Road.
Yeah,
Now, you indicated that you saw Mr. Lipscomb on the ground.
yeah,
That's when you first saw him?
yeah,
You didn't see him, how he got there, did you?
no.
Now, when you say on the ground, can you be more specific? I mean, was he on the ground near the car, or where on the ground was he? On the street, on the sidewalk, on the grass? Where?
Do y'all have a picture of the whole thing? The car was right here. He was like towards
How far was
the
he?
sidewalk and it's hard to explain how it is.
I understand. So there's a sidewalk by the car?
Yeah.
How far was he from this, where the car was? How far away was he from the car?
The car was right here. I would say he would have to be about right here.
Okay, on the sidewalk on the same side as where the car was?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a parking, where the building is, it's a parking lot area. It's like a driveway area in that area.
Do you remember what building he was in front of?
It was, I believe it was an old car wash.
All right.
I'm not sure exactly what he was.
Okay. Was he actually on the sidewalk, or what type of surface?
I believe they had him laying on the grass.
They
So
had
it was
him
like
laying-
on the sidewalk in the grass.
So do you know had he been moved? Do you know?
What do you mean?
Did you see him? You said they had him laying on the grass. Do you have knowledge that he had been moved by somebody?
I would believe he was in the.
So he was laying on lawn.
Yeah,
Okay. Was he conscious at that time?
yeah.
Talk to him at that time.
No, I was looking for my kid.
Now, when you got there, there was only 2 of the children were not there, is that true? That's only one child was there, correct? And that child was where? That's your youngest.
The oldest. The car was right here. I would say he was towards the curb on the sidewalk. I mean, not on the, he was on the grass, towards the curb.
Now, this is the child that passed, correct?
No.
Not.
That's the oldest. I didn't see my son that passed.
The oldest child was laying on the grass, and of course, he did not, he's still alive today.
Yeah.
Right? The other 2 children did not see at the scene?
I know, there was not.
So you got into the ambulance and went to the hospital with your oldest child?
Yeah.
Was Mr. Lipscomb, did they take the 2 of them in the same ambulance?
No.
And he went to directly to the hospital?
Yeah.
Now, you said that you did, obviously, at some point, speak with Michael about this, right?
Yeah.
And how long after the accident did you talk to him?
Like I said, the first time he called me
He called you,
that night of the
That night?
accident.
because he called you from the hospital,
Yeah.
you know? See, so how many hours, if you know, how many hours after the accident was that?
I'm not sure.
I mean, was it that evening?
It was, there's an hour, I would want to say about 9.
9 PM?
Yeah.
So that
Somewhere
first,
between 8 p.m. and 10 o'clock.
so the first time you spoke to him was he called you on the telephone, correct?
Yeah.
You went to visit him at the hospital?
Yeah.
When was that?
I believe 2 days, 3 days later.
All right, so did you have contact with him between the first time that he called you that evening, the time you went to visit him? Did you talk to him in the interim?
I didn't talk to him, I didn't have contact with him again until after I went to go visit him.
All right. Does this change the relationship between the two of you?
Counselor, I already ruled on that.
All right. Do you have custody of the two of each other? Joe. May I take a quick break?
Sure.
We don't have any water.
We don't have any?
You know what? Because I'm a nice guy. I do. I got some water that I didn't drink, but I'm pouring it. Oh, that's good. Yeah, because it's not in here. She put in a, yeah.
Then I called again today. Said they would bring it as soon as they can.
You know, I don't have any problem with it. As long as-
And, Mr. Cripps is here for our,
Yeah, I think he's downstairs talking to the principal right now.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to go over.
I don't know, he's talking to him.
I can get water on the bench, but if you
Get
call,
rid
I
of
think
it.
you
Get
call
some
it.
water there.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been called.
So you're gonna go to, like, your. Right here. The one over here?
Cause they put some money in there, but I gotta get out of here. Cause it's gonna be until about 4:35. Unless it depends what Chris did.
Yeah, he don't wait. He's probably trying to get him.
I think so too.
Cause what is it? What's the charge?
So what it is stuff.
Oh, the-
Deliver manufactured drugs. Yeah.
Now they don't wanna answer.
Oh, you got extra.
You know, I wonder, it might be.
Now they don't wanna answer.
I'm gonna be right back. You got it? That's all I do.
So is this the second witness that we're on?
Say it again?
Is this the second witness we're on?
This is the third.
I always want to.
Yeah.
Automatic ones.
Yeah, you got two before.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
no,
That's
this
the
one-
yeah, two. Okay?
Yeah, cause you can, I'll tell you.
If I always want to automatically do it,
Yeah.
I have to turn that thing off.
Okay.
We have a
How many
list.
more witnesses you got?
Oh, we got theoretically 3 more.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Miss Henry, she gonna get Miss Henry.
Where's, Cripps? You gotta come in and wave.
All right.
That's what he better do.
Last, we'll see.
So ED is just. ED is, from the car.
Just so you know, man, I'm not being rude, but I'm not supposed to talk.
Do you know if you need, Officer Emery?
Emery?
Yeah.
No, I think I'm gonna be able to do it through, but I'm gonna be able to whittle it down a lot, so he's not one.
Okay.
Well, anything is great, so,
No, it's a break.
Okay, so you're gonna be here for a while.
Yeah, we got Cripps too for our 2:30.
the background design.
You don't even. Yes, here.
Oh, so then he's done talking to him.
No, you brought him up, right? So he had already talked to Chris, yeah? Okay. He must, I'm just saying, because I told Chris to go talk to him. Okay. So that's the reason why they let you bring him up. Okay. Okay. Well, man, I gotta get my computer fixed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it just went.
I might check on my grandbaby doing something. Now she talking about my computer acting up.
Oh, this she? Oh, yeah.
Now he been working hard all the way up till she put her
When
here.
you finish, just put that in there for me, all right? Oh, you keep these in the drawer? I keep them in there, son.
Okay.
Can you been all right?
Yeah, how are you?
Intermission here with Judge Giles, so.
Might be going a minute.
Okay. I'll be interested in the hallway. Okay.
Judge, how are you? Yeah, it's still warm here.
So that Mr. King is out, which means Mr. Cripps should be on as well.
Yeah.
Judge, I try to understand a little bit more, just like, not to blow his papers,
Not blowing his papers. Can you go get everybody?
yes, yes.
Is that okay? Yeah, okay. Just figured it out, streamline it up. The ones I judge has the court.
Mr. Harris.
So Chelsea, I got a lot of water.
Yeah, we're going to that for, maybe I'm gonna re-up my whole one. It's on Walmart.
No, no,
That's better than the water.
Tell Mr. Harris, he can either come in or I'm gonna start without him.
Oh, Judge.
Oh.
Judge, you for your court.
No.
You for your court.
I can't remember.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. All right, back on the record, 2060716, people say the Michigan versus Michael Lavelle, Lipston and Roberts. All right. Ready to speak?
Yes, sir, man. All right.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, Your Honor. I just, my name is Ray Richard, Mr. Roberts. Just a few questions for you. The Dodge Challenger said it was burgundy in color, correct?
Yeah.
And would it be fair to say it had tinted windows?
I can't remember.
And that primarily was Mr. Lipston's car, correct?
Yeah.
And do you remember or do you have an idea?
Hold on one second.
Sorry.
Hello? Hey, Ronald. Yeah, I'm on the list. Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, okay. How many witnesses we got on this?
They have like 3 there. Look at 2.
It's gonna be about 20 minutes. Okay.
Judge,
Okay, all right.
Judge, you know, our 2:30 is holding, Mr. Cripps.
Okay, I gotta go down there and do a quick arraignment.
Thank you, Judge. So when Mr. Lipscomb carries the children, would it be fair to say that the car seats and the children are in the back of the vehicle, in the back seat? When Mr. Lipscomb carries the children in his car, in his vehicle, the children are.
Counsel, what does that got to do with this day on what happened on this incident? You can ask if you knew,
Okay, I'm sorry.
you know, on this day and this incident, but any other day is irrelevant.
I understand. On this day and time, day in question, did you know where the children were situated in the vehicle?
No.
No, okay. Now, you say at some point you encountered Mr. Roberts at the scene, correct?
Yeah.
All right. And he came to the scene looking for his phone, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know where he was coming from?
At the time, no, I didn't.
Okay. At some point, he told you where he was coming from, correct?
Yeah.
He was coming from the hospital, is that correct?
Yeah.
And I believe you stated on direct examination that he had carried 2 of your children to the hospital, correct? And that was after the impact happened with the other 2 vehicles?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you said at some period of time, you spoke to him at the scene briefly, correct?
Yeah.
But at some other time, you and he had spoke after the incident, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember how long after that?
I can't remember if he came to the hospital when we talked, or if it came to my mom's house and we talked there.
Okay, well that, so it would be face-to-face conversation?
Yeah.
Okay. And, you asked him to tell you what happened, correct? Okay. And, he told you that pretty much what you said on direct examination, correct? That there was some type of, conversation, correct? Between he and Mr. Wilson, correct? That his car would only go to 75, correct?
Yeah, the car didn't go over 75.
Okay. And at some point, someone swerved in front of him, or Mr. Lipson swerved in front of him?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Mr. Roberts slowed down?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Mr. Lipson swerved back over, correct?
Yeah, that he said he turned back over trying to avoid the lady.
Okay, so that Mr. Lipson's vehicle was trying to avoid the lady, correct? Not Mr. Roberts' car?
No.
Okay. And then there was some type of impact?
Yeah.
And that's from with Mr. Roberts' car?
Yeah.
Okay. And at the impact, Mr. Lipson's vehicle that impacted the car, correct?
Yeah.
Not Mr. Roberts?
No.
Okay. And from that point, he indicated to you got out of the vehicle and ran to render aid?
Yeah.
Okay. rendering aid, he took two of your,
My youngest, yeah.
the youngest and your oldest son.
My youngest and my middle child.
Youngest and your middle child came to the hospital.
Yes.
Okay. No further questions.
Any redirect?
No research, thank you.
Thank you, madam.
I have exhibits to admit. You're free to go. The good exhibits to admit, Judge, first, on Office of Wayne County Medical Examination, stationary and postmortem report for young Mike Hare, Lipscomb, dated September 5, 2020. Attached is the medical lab report, sheet of identification. I marked this as people's proposed form.
Any objection?
No objection for admission for exam purposes.
Okay.
No.
No objection for the exam.
For example,
Only thing I will read, Judge, for purposes of, it reads, in my opinion, the death was caused by multiple injuries sustained as a passenger in a motor vehicle accident. And then the cover page summary does go through a small list of the injuries, and I will read those two, because I know the court knows how to read. People's proposed exhibit number 5, and medical records from Michael Lipscomb. There's multiple pages, they are bound. The witness did testify to injuries that she was aware of her child, so I will not emphasize anything other than rely on her statement. And people's proposed exhibit number 6, high Lipscomb medical records. Again, mother testified to the litany of injuries. Rather than re-highlight those, Judge, I will just simply admit those.
Any objection?
No objection, Judge, for exam purposes, only on behalf of the court.
No.
That's the medical examiner?
Yeah, but.
What do you mean you want to add?
Well, I just
What
wanna-
can you add that's not in there? I'm
No, I
not
would say,
reading it.
I would say,
Mr. Harris, if I'm talking, why would you try to speak over me? I mean, how can I ask you a question if you're speaking over me?
I'm trying to explain to the court what I'm going.
Because you can't explain if I'm asking you a question. What? Okay, you said you want to explain something, or tell me exactly what your objection is, but that's the only thing you can do at this point.
I'll save it for my argument, Judge.
Fine.
I'll prepare my next witness for the court's review.
Fine.
It is on. A little.
How you look at it? She's gonna end up. She'll, you know, we'll do a minute for the rest. Okay. All right. All right. So I can get authenticated. Let's read. So two.
step up.
No, I need the name. Okay.
Thank you, Judge. Please state your name again for the record.
Johanna Todd,
How are you employed?
City of Detroit Police Department,
A particular unit?
Homicide Fatal Squad,
And what will be your rank?
Sergeant.
I want to take you back in time to September 4, 2020, early, let's say mid-afternoon area, 8 Mile Cherry Lawn. Were you called to that location in your capacity as a sergeant in the fatal squad of the Detroit Police Department?
Yes,
When you arrived, what did you see?
I saw a motor vehicle accident. A vehicle that had collided into the building. There was a second vehicle that was also on scene.
Did you see anyone that at that time appeared that they were part of that accident? In other words, any of the occupants in the vehicles?
When I first arrived, no.
And did other Detroit or other police units arrive before you?
Yes,
Any fire or emergency paramedics? Like, did any of those people on the scene?
they were already coming on before I arrived.
Now, you said there were 2 vehicles. Could you describe the 2 vehicles that you saw?
There was a red Dodge Charger, and there was a white Ford Escape.
That's what it should be. Grab the photographs.
Yeah. Oh.
6.
No, that one was good.
I want to show you a couple photographs. This one is marked as People's Exhibit number 2. Is that item familiar to you?
Yes,
Why does it look familiar?
that was the vehicle that collided with the building and people waiting for it.
And People's 3. Does that look familiar?
Yes,
Why does that look familiar?
that's the back end of the same vehicle.
Well, let's show you People's Proposed 7. Show you People's Proposed 7. Is that a?
Yes.
Why does that look familiar?
That's the way it's
That accurately depict how that looked at the time you arrived?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna move to the issue of People's 7.
Go, Justin.
No more objection for the exam.
Or that be lit for example.
So what did you do when you arrived on the scene?
Begin to do scene measurements and canvas the scene for video and additional witnesses.
Let's start with additional witnesses. Did you have an opportunity, did you identify anyone as a witness to the event when you were there?
There was a female that was the owner of the hair salon. I can't recall what the name of the hair salon was, who had video of her phone of it. And then later on, as I was speaking with family members involved, somebody came up and identified himself as being a witness.
And what was that person's name?
Jeffrey Roberts.
Do you see Jeffrey Roberts in the courtroom today? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm seeing him. I'm walking your view.
No, it's okay. He's sitting in the first row with the black suit.
The animated record reflected witnesses identified defendant Jeffrey Roberts.
That's what
Did you have an opportunity, at the time that you started to speak to Mr. Roberts, let me ask you, did you spoke to Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
What did Mr. Roberts say to you?
He said that he was in a Monte Carlo, a Chevy Monte Carlo, following the red Dodge, and he observed the automobile accident. And he stopped and assisted by taking 2 of the children from the vehicle and taking them to Grace Hospital for emergency, to the emergency department.
Did you say anything else about what happened?
He said that the vehicle collided and it struck the building.
Did you obtain this information?
Yes, I did.
Did you make the arrests of anything at the time?
No.
Why was that?
Because I didn't know that a Chevy Monte Carlo was possibly involved. I didn't know anything about that at the time.
Speaking further in the scene other than what you just described for us.
No, he was very upset.
Now, the two vehicles that you just showed, I showed you the photographs of the Dodge, the red vehicle. Do you have an opportunity to look that vehicle over?
Yes.
Do you have an opportunity to look inside of that vehicle?
Yes.
Did you see any, I'm gonna call them any variety of types of child seats, restraint types of items in that vehicle?
As I recall, there was one, I would categorize it as a booster seat, not a formal, full back child seat.
Now, this booster seat that you observed, could you tell us how that kind of works in the back of the car?
Normally, a booster seat would be positioned in the back seat, and the seatbelt would go across the lap of the child, being held in with the armrest of the booster.
Now, were you able to recover any, you said you were also looking for video. Did you recover any video?
From the hair salon, the owner of the hair salon provided video.
Was there any other video that you recovered?
There's also video at the green light, I don't recall the actual address, and there was a video at the second green light at Wyoming.
How did you download the green light video?
Yes.
Could you just briefly describe how does one download green light videos?
So the software is called Genetech. What we do is we locate the video that we want, we identify the start time and end time of the video, and there's a button that you do to download the video. It looks like a little disc. And you download it, time that you want to start, time you want it to end, and it downloads it for you.
And of course, is this something you do at the actual location or someplace else?
No, I do this at my office.
And in this particular case, did you actually download the green light video?
Yes.
And I know this is where I think it's slightly touchy, but I think I can figure it out. What I thought was, in order to show this, because I have to show it over YouTube also, is if I can hit the share the screen, I can run it on my PC, and that's acceptable to you. Let's pause this right here. Now, oops. Oh, here we go, I'm sorry. Okay, what's up on the screen here? Does this opening scene, does this look familiar to you?
Yeah.
Why does this look familiar to you?
Because this is the green light video, right at the turnaround where the accident occurred.
Okay, and when you get the green light video, do you download that video?
Yeah.
And then when you send that in with your original police packet, you send that in such a digital form, in other words, you don't burn it on a disk, do you?
I do burn one copy on the disk, and that goes on to evidence. And then I also do digital copies on evidence.com.
Okay. And to your awareness, this appears the same as the video that you remember seeing on Greenlight.
Yes.
Now, and this mark is what I have a disc, which is what this is playing. The mark is People's Proposed Exhibit number 8, which would be this video that we would see would ask for its admission for the exam, I guess exam purposes only.
No objection, Judge.
I agree. For the exam.
Play. Now, actually, before this, so we have an idea what where we're looking for. Where on this video should we be focused?
Center upper portion, there's a white car mostly generally in that area.
Okay, so the white car is parked
Yeah,
next to, I don't know what that is.
that's a pole,
That blue pole?
and there's a turnaround right there, Michigan left turnaround. That we're looking at.
Okay, I'm gonna hit play. Is that the incident that you were looking to capture?
Yes,
And is that incident in its entirety?
yes.
Is the court needing to play that again, or is the court satisfied with the one play? Okay. Now on this, oops. Now on this particular date in question, can you describe what the weather was like?
It was clear and kind.
As far as the condition of the pavement, can you describe anything with any moisture, residual rain, snow, anything?
No, it was dry.
This particular area of 8 Mile Road, do you know what the posted speed limit is for a vehicle?
It is 40.
Is it vary on which direction you're going?
No.
At that corner that you mentioned there's a Michigan left, is there any traffic control devices at that location where that Michigan left is?
There's a traffic light.
So other than the two videos you described, two individuals you described speaking to, what else did you do to process that tape?
We do the same measurements. Place the vehicles onto evidence, and the evidence technicians come in and photograph.
Judge,
I'm sorry, the evidence technicians come in and photograph the scene.
You ever gave an identification of who was driving the white vehicle?
Pamela Allen.
And the driver of the red vehicle?
Michael Lipscomb.
As far as. Now, after the scene is processed, what happens to these vehicles?
They go to the Detroit Police Evidence Lot.
And were you involved in any search warrants being processed with either of these vehicles?
I didn't process the search warrant.
You know who did? Did somebody, I should ask you first?
Yes, Sergeant Paul Warren.
Okay. No further questions this time, right?
Officer Todd. Good afternoon. Okay. What exactly is your designation, position with the Detroit Police? Your title?
Sergeant.
Well, I mean, beyond being a sergeant, I mean, what was your role in the investigation?
Fatal Squad handles automobile accidents only. We handle fatal injury and critical injury or legal accidents.
And how long have you been in Fatal Squad?
For 2 years.
Have you received any specific training insofar as handling auto accidents?
Yes.
Could you explain that?
I have taken advanced vehicle accident training through a company called IPTM.
IPTM?
That's Institute of Police Technology and Management.
They're a private company.
Out of Florida.
Okay.
Another is the second more advanced level for on-scene accident.
And advanced what?
Advanced auto accident investigation. There's a second level of that.
What's that called?
I don't recall.
Okay. How long ago did you complete this training?
I completed it in December of 2020.
How many accidents would you say that you've investigated since you graduated from those two programs?
Since I started at Fatal Squad in 2019, responded to 228 automobile accidents. And in 2020, we had 304. And so far this year, I'm at 52, I believe.
You responded to 304 accidents last year?
Yes,
Michelle,
it's very, very busy.
were they all fatal?
I'm on so far, but how is it relevant?
Well, as part of your job, is it only fatal that you do?
I said critical injury
Okay.
and fatal injury.
So, about, if you know, how long after the actual crash did you get to the scene?
Approximately an hour.
And at that point was you already identified Mr. Lipscomb, correct? As being on the scene, right?
No, Mr. Lipscomb was not on the scene.
When you got there, he was
No,
not.
he was not on the scene when I was there.
But you did on direct exam indicate that Mr. Lipscomb was involved in the accident, correct?
Through my investigation, it was determined that he was involved to be a part of the accident.
What, you were obviously not there when the accident occurred, right?
Correct.
Nor were you there when Mr. Lipscomb was removed from the scene, correct?
Correct.
So what information are you relying on to come to the conclusion that Mr. Lipscomb was involved?
I'm basing that on the information that I received from other officers within Fatal Squad and the officers responding to the scene.
Do you remember the names of those officers that you relied on?
I don't remember offhand.
So basically, your conclusion that Mr. Lipscomb was involved in this accident was based upon you speaking to other DPD officers.
Correct.
And you don't know where they got the information, correct?
From the hospital. From the hospital.
How do
The
you know
officers
that?
responded to the hospital.
How do you know that the officers that you talked to, insofar as the fact that Mr. Lipscomb was involved in the accident, how do you know that they got the information from the hospital?
The officers that responded themselves to the hospital, they do police reports.
So what exactly did you do there? What exactly did you do to investigate this?
Like I said before, when we respond to a scene, we conduct measurements.
Okay, did you?
Yes,
What did you measure?
I would have to go back to the original measurement points to tell you exactly everything we measured.
You said a car hit the wall, correct? A wall, right?
It's the side of a building.
What car hit what side of what building?
The red Dodge struck the side of the building that was captured in the video. I don't recall the exact address.
You don't remember the name of the building or so you didn't know the address, right?
I don't recall what it was.
All right. When you saw the car though, it wasn't up against the building, right?
No, it was back away from the building a few feet.
Was there damage to the building?
Yeah,
Like what?
damage to the brick. The gas lines had been ruptured.
Gas line? But no. Let's try that. Where was the car, the charger, where physically was it located when you got there? I mean, in relationship to the 8 Mile Road,
It was on the south side of 8 Mile.
was it still on the street? Was
It was mostly on the sidewalk
it sidewalk?
and a portion between the building and the sidewalk.
In relationship to the red car, where is the white vehicle?
The white
Yes,
vehicle
you
was still within the roadway and it was further to the east.
And the driver of that vehicle, by the time you got there, also did take her to the hospital or away from the scene?
She was not at the scene when I arrived.
So you took a bunch of measurements and you spoke to other officers who were already at the scene?
Correct.
Is that essentially the extent of your investigation?
Also canvassed for video.
You indicated that a owner of a hair salon had video.
Yes.
Did you yourself like go to them and say, hey, do you have any video? Or?
Yes.
And how was the video captured, like that what device?
She had it on her cellular phone.
So what other video, if any, did you locate?
The green light video that we watched.
Was that at a gas station or a?
That's a liquor store.
Remember the name of the liquor store?
No, I can't, no.
How was that captured? Is that like a slow, is it like at a distance?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
Well, did they record? They obviously recorded it, right?
It's a green light partner.
Okay.
So the video is uploaded to the green light system.
Did that video actually show the crash itself?
Yeah.
So that's it. So it's the hair salon owner who went out there with her cell phone.
With our, the questions confusing, he's now stating, he's asking questions that are stating facts that are not enough.
Well, wait a minute. No, I'm asking her questions. I want to go back to the hairdresser over for a minute.
Ask your question.
You said that she took these on her cell phone, correct?
Yes.
But she would at the time of the crash, you were able to determine that she was inside her hair salon?
She has a camera system on the exterior of her building.
But you told me the videos came from her cell phone, not from the external camera.
She accesses the camera system from her cellular.
Okay, so she wasn't out there with her cell phone.
No.
She downloaded the video and restored to her cell phone?
I believe so.
All right. So those are the two sources of the video,
Yes.
the shop owner and then the green light, correct?
Correct.
And that's the extent of your investigation. You got the video, you took the measurements, and you talked to other police.
Right.
That's what you did.
Also spoke with the family of the children,
Okay.
and I also spoke with Mr. Rocker.
Right. Okay, back to the scene.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just some questions. I represent Mr. Robert Frank, so that we're clear, your investigation really focused on two vehicles, correct? Ford Escape, correct?
There's a Ford Escape.
And also with the Burgundy or Red Challenger, correct?
Yes, but there was a third vehicle involved.
I understand. But as far as impact is concerned, as far as an accident, it was only between a Challenger, correct?
Yes.
And a Ford Escape, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, as it regards, those two vehicles were taken to, I guess, impound somewhere where they were analyzed, things of that nature, correct?
Yes, the Detroit Police Evidence Line.
Okay, so those were introduced into evidence, correct?
Yes.
And that's because they were in some type of collision or impact, right?
Yes.
Okay. There was no Monte Carlo taken into any type of impound, is that correct?
That's correct.
No Monte Carlo was involved in any type of accident, correct?
The Monte Carlo did not collide with either vehicle.
Okay. And you said you spoke to Mr. Roberts at the scene, correct?
Correct.
And would it be fair to say that he drove back to the scene in that same Monte Carlo? Or did
I
he-
don't
or did
know
he
when
not?
he drove back in.
Okay, but he popped up on the scene, correct?
Yes.
And you had an opportunity to speak to him?
Yes.
And he indicated to you that he was following the vehicle that ran into, or he was following the vehicle that was involved in an incident or an accident?
Yes.
Okay. You indicated that, he was very upset when you talked to him.
Yes.
No other interaction with Mr. Roberts other than that brief period of time?
No.
Now, the green light video that we watched, I believe it's Exhibit 8. Or Exhibit 8. That's just a fraction of the, that's just a clip. The video is a little bit long, correct?
I believe so. I have to go back and look.
Okay, so we just saw a snapshot of the vehicle that they were positioned as the incident happened.
Yeah,
Okay. And obviously there was some video footage thereafter, but that's just the only one we focused on today.
yes, we just want to watch one video.
And as regards your involvement with the video, it's that green line video and then the video from the store owner or the beauty salon, right?
Yes.
No further questions.
Further questions, Director? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sergeant Paul Warner.
Sergeant
Paul Warner.
You also approve.
Robert approved these, the Sergeant Warner obtained search warrants, that were signed and executed on both of these vehicles, both of these vehicles being the Dodge Charger and the, Ford Escape that is in question. Sergeant Warner, accessed the black boxes of those vehicles utilizing some type of, special software. Downloaded that information and created, two, documents. Those documents which show the speed, the speed of those vehicles, well, the estimated speed of those vehicles.
Okay.
Call CR439.
Yes.
Warner, CR439.
That's correct.
There are, truth, all truth, and nothing but the truth. Thank you. Thank you. Close the door. Please.
Thank you, Ryan. Please state your name again for the record, sir.
Paul Warner.
Are you employed?
I'm a sergeant with the City of Detroit Police Department.
What unit are you assigned to, and what's your, essentially your responsibilities at this time?
I'm assigned to homicide. I am the squad leader for fatal squad, and I manage a squad of 7 to investigate all critical and fatal crashes within the city and operating while intoxicated third offenses.
You ever had an opportunity to testify as an expert in the past?
I have
In what field do you testify as an expert in the past?
crash investigation, crash reconstruction, and crash data retrieval.
How many times have you testified as an expert in the past?
I'd have to look at CAD, but a handful.
Pardon?
A handful.
When you define a handful, what's a handful?
Approximately 10 between 36 and 3rd Circuit.
And you provided us a Strickland Lake County CV here today?
I have, and that would have the listing of the dates and locations for that.
You're going to send, I guess subject to what here, it asks that the Sergeant Warner be declared an expert. Was that term that you use again for your field?
It's been in 3 different instances, depending on the court and the case. It was either in crash investigation, crash reconstruction, or crash data retrieval.
In the area of crash data retrieval.
Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. Roberts, for exam purposes only, I stipulate as him being presented to the court as an expert just for the preliminary exam, reserving any right to object if this matter goes further.
All right, thank you.
And I would agree with my co-counsel on that.
All right, thank you.
Now, I want to direct your attention, that you become involved in the case of investigating a car accident that took place in the area of 8 Mile and Cherry Lawn, City of Detroit, on September the 4th, 2020.
I did.
And what was your first involvement in that case?
I executed a search warrant in relationship to the 2 vehicles involved in the crash.
I'm going to show you Marcus Peoples' proposed exhibit, 8-9, that item look familiar?
Yeah.
What is that?
This is a search warrant for a 2010 Dodge Challenger.
And why did you seek a search warrant on the 2010 Dodge Challenger?
To gather evidence from within the vehicle.
Is that the case we just got done discussing?
Yes.
People's proposed 10. What is that?
It's a 3-page search warrant with affidavit in relationship to a 2024 escape.
And was that vehicle also involved in the investigation?
What?
People move for the mission of 9 and 10, Judge?
Judge, no objection to the exam.
No objection, Judge, stipulate for exam purposes only.
All right, motion to be minutes.
Okay, execute search warrants, what'd you do next?
I went to the Detroit facility, evidence facility at 6300 Kenneth, and executed the search warrants on each vehicle separately.
So what is that? Can you kind of just in general describe what does that mean, you executed search warrants?
I entered the vehicle. My purpose in this case was to download the event data recorder, also known as a black box within those vehicles.
And did you do so?
I did.
You use software to do that?
Yes, I used the crash data retrieval tool, which is hardware and software.
Is that crash data retrieval tour create a document with the extracted information?
When the vehicles are supported, that generates a report.
Were both of these vehicles supported?
Yes, I was able to obtain a report from each vehicle.
Do you add any information to those reports?
I add notes and the VIN number through the software when it requires me to do so, and the date of the incident, which will be on the first page, and then comments will be what I enter in regards to the what type of car it is, location I'm going at, tire size, preferred tire size, and what type of download I will be.
And that information which you just described, the VIN number, the tire sizes, why do you obtain that information?
The VIN I get from the vehicle. The type of vehicle would be based off of what it is. Tire size, I look at tires that are actually on the car. And then if I'm able, in most cases, the door where the driver's door is, there's a sticker with the preferred tire size. And I enter that.
You know, if you had any other data yourself to these reports?
No, all the data beyond my comment section and entering the VIN and the date of the incident will be based off of the actual report from the vehicle itself.
Show you the marked people's proposed 11. Item look familiar.
Yes, this is a 37-page report for a 2024 escape.
Is that a report that you created with the software you described earlier?
This is the report that I downloaded from the Ford escape.
Computer created the report?
Yes.
Fair enough. We'd like to move for the admission of people's 11.
No objection to the exam.
No objection, Your Honor.
I show you the marked people's proposed 12. Tell me that item looks familiar.
This is a 37-page report for a 2010 escape.
The report you downloaded?
This the report was downloaded from the channel.
I'm going to just hang on to these for a second. Now, from those reports, what do those reports record?
They record multiple things depending on the make and model, things that we look at as investigators. our relationship to speed, braking, steering, if it's supported, the accelerator pedal, those are things that we focus on as investigators.
And do those, I'm gonna call them black boxes, they'll just record everything that a car does from the moment it rolls off the dealer's lot to its very end, or is it only record specific events?
They only record for events. Events would be related to airbags. Airbag deployment or non-deployment, that is when the vehicle will record.
Now, I want to draw your attention to the Challenger, the Dodge. Last event recorded. As far as information is recorded, does it record, let's start off, does it record essentially the speed of the vehicle during its last event?
This report here had two. It had a most recent event and a first prior. In this case, because the data limitations within the report itself, the most recent was a not valid report based on the standard of SNA, which would be within the documentation. I can give you the page that would be on, if you guys like. That would be on page 3, or anytime the SNA is equal to RPM. That report showed all zeros across it. It was meaning that the event, the actual event where the airbags were deployed, had already occurred in a prior one, and now we have one that is attempting to record a secondary event.
As far as, does it record if there was an impact with the vehicle?
No, it's, like I said, it's relationship to the airbag.
So when the last, it was recorded when the last airbag was last deployed.
This one here is, it would be the first prior event is the one that I'm focusing on, because the most recent is one that is not valid based off of the limitations within that event.
Okay, so the first prior event, was the airbags deployed during the first prior event?
That one is recording as 5 seconds prior to the event.
Okay. And you were able to make a determination of the speed of the vehicle, time of the event. Just look at the airbag.
Determining, I was able to read the report, which it says the speed at 0.1 seconds prior to that.
And what was that speed?
Like it was that gauge.
Absolutely.
The speed is registered on page 24 of 37. And that speed was registered at 99 miles per hour.
Is it, how far back beyond that point of,
I gotta clarify things. Kind of lost me. You spoke about 2 events.
Yes, John.
Okay. All right. Well, we know from the videos that, and testimony that there was a vehicle-to-vehicle accident. That would be considered one event.
Right.
And then the Dodge Challenger also hit a building. That would be considered a second event.
That would be the most recent.
Okay, so when you say the most recent, that's what you're talking about.
It's actually the second one.
The second event.
Yes.
Okay, I got it. I just want to make sure I understood. I wasn't sure if you were talking about another event on another day, but I got it.
does it show a trend in the speed? In other words, how far back does it go as far, you said 99, how far back in time does it record?
This report goes 5 seconds, and it registers a data point for a speed every 1/10 of a second.
When you go back to 5 seconds, what was the speed at 5 seconds previous?
95 miles per hour.
So it would have been increased 4 miles per hour during those 5 seconds, is that fair?
Well, if you just specifying from the 5 second to the 0.1, there is a 4 mile an hour difference.
Does it measure steering?
I would have to look at it like this. It does.
Is there anything remarkable or of note about the steering?
It's in the standard realm of straight, majority of the report, and then it goes to negative 42 at 0.1.
What is that?
Negative 42 would be based off the steering wheel if you classify it as 90, either side, 42, roughly halfway to the left.
Does the report indicate any reporting of seatbelt usage, or I should say engagement? In other words, a little click, things like a click.
Come back on tomorrow. In the morning.
It does not get the details of each buckle or not.
No, just so I'm clear, Judge asked the question, I want to make sure that the time that speed we were talking about, 99 miles per hour, that would have been, as the court indicated, for the car hit the building. The 99 was for the other car.
So we had two events related to the same incident. The most recent would be the latest in time, which is, we know in this crash that there was two contacts. One is the vehicle, which would have been the first prior. The second one is the non-vehicle contact.
First prior, you did 99 miles an hour?
Yes.
Before the escape, did you do, let me ask you this, was there anything else, as far as when you download those documents, was there anything else that you recall in there that was remarkable or of note?
In relationship to the, that I can say by actions. By actions, what I looked at was the accelerator pedal. The foot was off the accelerator pedal. It started to come off at 0.7. It went from 100 accelerator pedal down to 58%. And at 0.6, carried through 0.1. It was 0. That means there was no pressure on that accelerator pedal. The brake pedal comes on at 0.1. Which is where the brake pedal is actually applied. There's pressure to that, making the circuit close, saying, I'm on.
Anything else you recall that was of interest or remarkable?
No, those are the things that I look at during this inspection of this report.
Fourth, the escape. The same type of series of questions. Was there one event or more than one event?
This one has it's events recovered. There's 3 listed. One is a lock side event, a lock rollover event, and a fuel cutoff level 2. That's how this report classifies it.
Okay. As far as the event that would have involved an impact on the vehicle.
Can I go through this?
Yes, please.
ISO 1, it says on page 12 is a similar page which shows speed in reference to the first record.
What speed was the vehicle traveling?
This one is recorded in, I'm sorry, it carries over to page 13 also. At 0 seconds, meaning right at event, 19.9 miles per hour.
How far back is that one report?
This one goes back every 0.2 of a second, and it goes to 5 seconds also.
What speed was the vehicle traveling 5 seconds previous?
19.3.
Airbags in play on this one also?
This report does not indicate actual vehicle being deployed. That doesn't mean it didn't occur. It just means the event is recorded. Some reports say deployed, not deployed. This one does not have that feature.
As far as the steering.
Steering. Does not have that count.
Probably just indication safety notes.
On page 8, classified as driver status driver, belted.
I'm sorry?
Belted.
Belted. Anything else about the report that was article of interest? Any conclusions that you were able to draw based on these two reports?
I can just tell you what their speeds were based off the reports.
Okay. No further questions for this time, right?
Officer Warner?
Sergeant Warner.
Sergeant Warner, good afternoon.
Yes.
Were you ever at the scene of the crash?
I'm sorry?
Were you ever at the scene of the crash?
Not today. I was present during a study at a later time.
Oh. You went to the scene after the cars had been towed away?
Yes, the scene did not exist at any point when I was there.
But you did go there?
Yes.
Just to see the layout of the land, so to speak?
We were doing a follow-up at that intersection in relationship to that accident.
Okay. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the data that you retrieve comes off of the vehicle is globally known as a black box.
It is.
Yeah. And who removed the black, so they were removed from vehicles, correct, obviously?
This one, the Challenger, I had to look at my report. I did remove from the center tunnel.
Yeah.
Secured it. Yeah.
Where was the vehicle when you removed it?
That was at our evidence facility, 6300.
Okay, so you removed the box from the Charger, and what about the Escape?
The Challenger, I'd have to look at my report.
And the Challenger, you removed the box from the Challenger?
Yes.
All right. Did you also remove the box from the Ford?
I'd have to look at that if it was a bench test or not, relationship to that.
All right, so you don't know, you could have done it, or somebody else could have removed the box?
Well, no, I was the only one doing the download. I don't know if I removed the box from the car, or if I did a direct to module in the car.
But you did the download on home vehicles?
Yes.
Basically what you do, if you oversimplify it, is you hook the black box up to the computer and let the box download into the computer, is that essentially it?
It's as simple as that.
Now, are you aware whether these boxes have a margin of error?
They do, and that's why I analyzed it afterwards in relationship to the last known speed.
Well, okay, so they do have a margin of error. In other words, it's possible that what it reads, say, 99 miles an hour, 95 miles an hour, it's possible that might not be 100% accurate. Isn't that true?
Well, there's a speedometer error, which is 4%. So you would subtract 4% from the last known because there's an ability of a tenth of a second of time. So based off that tenth of a second of time, there could be braking occurring still. So you subtract every second 15 miles per hour a second. So in this is through training, the numbers I'm giving you. So off a tenth of a second would be a subtraction of 1.5 miles per hour. And then I would also adjust based off a 4% speedometer error rate that is given to us through training, which is given to them through manufacturing.
So you know the 4% margin through, you learned that?
Yes.
Now, is that the case? We've got one Chrysler vehicle and one Ford vehicle. Are you saying that 4% is the same for every make of vehicle?
It's 4% for speedometer error rate.
What about applying the brakes?
Applying the brakes based off the report, if they could be even adjusted more if they're into a ABS situation, anti-aggressive brake system situation. You would adjust even more in relation to that, but you would add a speed to that, of 5%, up to 5%.
Were either of these boxes damaged?
Not that I remember, no.
So is there any way that they can be calibrated or anything like that?
That's something you would have to ask the engineers that created it.
So you don't know the answer whether they could be calibrated.
I can't answer that.
In other words, I understand, you learned that there's a 4% accuracy, and you learned that there's a margin of errors. But how do you know for sure, other than what the thing says, how are you saying you know for sure that those readings are accurate? What are you relying on to say, okay, 95 miles an hour, how do you know for a fact that that box is accurate?
Nothing in the world is perfect. Anything made by man is not perfect.
So there's no really way to know whether, because the box says 99 miles an hour, for example, that the car really was going 99 miles an hour. It's just what the black box says.
The report indicates that. That's why I did a range of speed, which lowered and showed a higher range based on the actions that could be occurring based on what the report says.
So the car at the time of impact, you said, was 99 miles an hour, right?
And it was 0.1 second prior to an event.
So it's possible that might not be 100% correct.
We still have 0.1 of a second.
How do you know? I understand that. What I'm saying is that you have really no way to know. I understand what you've been trained to, but you really have no way to know whether that reading is 100% accurate. Isn't that true?
I can only go based off my training, what the report states, and any additional questions would have to be directed to an engineer who does that.
So you have no way to know whether that box could have been defective anyway.
Do I?
Yeah.
No.
Thank you.
Any further judgment? Sergeant, you did a lot of data collection via black box, correct?
I do.
And you only collected data from 2 vehicles, right?
In this incident, yes.
Right. That would be a Ford Escape, right?
Yes.
And a 2024 Escape.
Yes.
And a 2010, if I'm not mistaken, Dodge Challenger, correct?
Right.
All the information that you testified today as it relates to an incident between those 2 vehicles, correct?
Yes.
No data analysis, speed, braking, anything of that nature as regards any other vehicle, other those 2 vehicles as regards this case.
That is correct.
No Monte Carlo or anything?
Was not tasked to do anything in regards to that Monte Carlo.
Right. So as a regard, so we're just, those 2 vehicles, that's it?
That is correct.
Very well. No further questions?
There's one that Nick asked, and Nick, he was 11 at 12. Words here. Judge, I might still have one other witness, but I think I might be able to do it through this witness instead. Save us on another witness. Yeah, please. And I'll find out here in a second. Sergeant Warren, were you involved in, you said you went back to that scene. Why did you go back to that scene?
I directed my crew to go out for additional video canvas and to monitor the lights and do a light study.
Did you do that video light analysis?
I'm sorry?
Is this the you said, I thought I heard you say video light analysis?
A video canvas,
Canvas.
and then I instructed my members to do a light study in regards to the traffic light.
Did you do the light study or did somebody else?
Somebody else.
Oh, and you know who that was?
That was Officer Dajra.
Did you review Officer Dajra's, the videos and the work that he did on that?
No.
Oh, fair enough. I have nothing else.
Anything further? Okay.
Other than that, no recalls.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Judge, there is one other witness, Officer Shabaka Dajra. His offer of proof, Judge, is that you reviewing the video at the liquor store and then doing the video recording of the lights at that location of Cherry Lawn and 8 Mile, essentially in recording the times that the lights essentially go on and off, and based on the actual video, the video of the actual accident determined that there was a period of time in which 8 Mile would have had a red light and the, what we call Michigan left, would have had green.
You want to hear it? You want to stipulate it?
I'm not gonna stipulate.
No, not at all.
You good?
No.
Yes, that's right.
We swear our time, so keep the whole truth and nothing but the truth, God.
Yes.
So, George, want to have a seat?
Commissioner Judge?
Yes.
You say your name for the record?
Police Officer Shabaka Dajra,
Officer Dodger, which court assignment and what department?
Detroit Police Fatal Squad.
And what essentially what are you doing at Dale Squad?
We investigate critical and fatal car crashes inside the city of Detroit.
How many times, how many fatal, critical car crashes do you think you've investigated?
More than 100.
And, I want to direct your attention specifically, well, do you have any special training to investigate those?
Yes.
What kind of special training have you
I've had accident investigation to IPTM, International Police Technology Management, online classes, and I had advanced accident investigation to do it as well.
I want to direct your attention back to September 4, 2020, City of Detroit, County Wayne, 8 Mile, Cherry Lawn. You had an opportunity to investigate an accident at that location?
Yes.
And you go to that location while the vehicles were still on the scene?
Yes.
And I'm just going to kind of skip a little bit ahead here. Did you have an opportunity to review any surveillance video of that accident?
Yes.
And do you remember what the source of that surveillance video was?
I have to look at my report to recollect and refresh my knowledge of the address.
That would help refresh that?
Yes. Do you have a copy of my
Oh,
report?
sorry, I thought you. Yeah, I got you.
If not, I have it. I just
I'm sorry, I thought I had a tab for you, but I'm sorry, it must have fallen off. Maybe faster than that.
Go for it.
Any questions, Lipston? This your report here?
Yes.
I got you. Is that the complete, is it your complete report?
Yes.
Did you show us confidence? Oh, I will certainly do that, Judge. My apologies.
Okay.
Thank you. Asked, did you, video, did you obtain some video, or were they able to view some video on this matter?
Yes.
Where was that video from?
It was at 8523 West 8 Mile.
You know what type of video that was?
I believe it was video surveillance or video footage from our relay system.
And, did you view that video?
Yes.
What information did you, well, you viewed that video, then what did you do next?
I downloaded the video.
After downloading, what did you do?
I stored it on a disk and placed that disk on evidence.
Did you ever go back and use that video as part of your investigation?
Yes.
How did you use that video?
I reviewed the video to determine how the crash took place or observe the crash take place.
Okay. Did you review the traffic control lights and devices in that video?
Yes.
And what was the purpose of doing that?
We were trying to determine if basically a red signal was disregarded. I believe the video didn't have a clear shot of the red signal, but it did have a shot of the crosswalk signal. So
You said the crosswalk, you're talking like the little red hand and the little guy?
the signal that illuminates and flashes when it is clear for pedestrians to cross.
So you're able to view those?
Yes.
And what did you do after viewing those?
But I went responded to the area to basically do a study of the signal to determine at what point from the illumination of the crosswalk signal to from that point at which point would the light turn red after the signal change.
Did you record those?
Yes.
And how did you record those?
I recorded that using the dash cam inside the scout car. If you mind if I look at the report, the exact car code 175013.
And you recorded one cycle, or did you record more than one cycle?
Observe 4 cycles.
Why did you do 4 cycles?
To make sure the time was consistent.
And on that, using that information, were you able to make a determination as far as, based on what you testified to, the numbers you, well, based on the numbers that you observed, you were able to make a determination as far as the signals would have been at the time of that accident?
In comparison to the video of the crash and in comparison to the actual study, the signal would have been red at the time of the crash.
Right.
The traffic along eastbound West 8 Mile.
Other than that study that you just described, did you do any other work on this case?
In regards to
It's investigation.
in the preparation of a report or
Yes.
yes.
And what else did you do?
View video and download evidence.
Okay. I have no further questions for this witness. Senator Harris?
Is it officer?
Officer.
Sherrod?
Yes.
Good afternoon. Okay, so you indicated these IPTM is where you got your training.
Yes.
How long ago did you have that training?
Last year, I received training.
So as part of the training, you're learning how to time traffic lights?
That's not part of the training. That is specifically just investigations. So that wasn't inside the IPTM training directive curriculum.
Okay, and I have to actually speak up a little bit.
That wasn't a part of the IPTM curriculum.
That was part.
That was not part.
Not part. So how did you learn to time traffic lights then?
I used a stopwatch and my vision. That wasn't something I learned to do or was trained on to do. We simply went out there with a stopwatch. And that's what we did 4 takes to make sure that it was consistent with the stopwatch and video. It wasn't training, it was just a watch and observation of the light to determine if this light was consistent with multiple takes, and that consistency continued more than one time. 4 tries, stopwatch, and that's how we determined that at this time the signal illuminated. After the signal change, we had from, I guess, that's how we use the stopwatch to determine at what point the signal change, determine from how long it would take for the light to turn red. I'm having trouble articulating it.
Signal, which signal changed?
For eastbound traffic and westbound.
You're talking about the traffic light that's at the, whatever you want to call it, the U-turn, Michigan turn?
Correct.
When did you make these observations?
If you allow me to look at my report, I can give you the exact date.
Sure.
It was conducted 9/8/2020.
So approximately 4 days after the incident.
Correct.
The accident. So one of the things you did is you determined how long the light is red or green for people on 8 Mile Road? How long is the cycle? How long it stays red or how long it stays green?
How long it takes to turn red after the crosswalk or the walk signal for pedestrian traffic, after it changes. From that point, how long does it take for the light to turn red?
But nobody was walking in the pedestrian lane, correct? Right?
Correct.
Okay. So you're saying by looking at the crosswalk signs, walk and don't walk, I'm sorry. that you were able to- You're saying that by looking at the crosswalk, the walk and don't walk, you were able to determine when the light turned green or the light turned red, the traffic light?
Correct.
How are they correlated?
Well, when the crosswalk signal is illuminated, it's safe for pedestrians to walk across 8 Mile.
Okay. And?
Yeah, so when it is not safe, there's a timer that goes off after it changes for pedestrians to halt traffic across 8 Mile. There's additional change for it into a yellow light after it illuminates to don't walk. After that, it then changes to a red light. All we did was study that time.
You're talking about for people on 8 Mile Road?
For pedestrians, we talk about the pedestrian crosswalk. Right.
So how do we know, based upon, now was you able to determine when for pedestrians that was walk and don't walk, correct?
Correct.
So how do we know that that's 100% correlated to whether the light for people on 8 Mile Road is red or green?
So that's why we did 4 takes.
I understand that, but how are you able to correlate the two? You got a pedestrian walk and don't walk, and then you've got a light on 8 Mile Road that turns red, yellow, green. How are you saying you're able to correlate the two? I said you said 4 takes, but how are you able to, you understand my question? How are you able to correlate that, if, assuming that you can tell when it's walk or don't walk, road, obviously, how are you able to correlate that that means you can tell when the light is red and when the light is green for people that ain't.
Pedestrian crosswalk signal, in my experience, wouldn't tell pedestrians to walk across 8 Mile if traffic for 8 Mile had a green light. So we do based off of the time it changed to don't walk for pedestrians. We recorded that time.
Okay.
Where the pedestrian crosswalk signal to tell pedestrians don't walk. We recorded that time from walk to don't walk, yellow light, then red light.
There's no video of the pedestrian walk and don't walk at the time of the accident, correct?
It was captured on a green light. That was the only thing captured.
You're getting that off a green light from the party store when the walk and the don't walk signs were illuminated for pedestrians? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Well, obviously, there's no pedestrian accident here, right? We're talking about two vehicles.
We're investigating two vehicles.
But the video does not show whether the light was red or green for somebody on 8 Mile Road at the time of the accident, correct?
Correct.
You're basically deducing that, well, if we take a look at the crosswalk lights, we can tell whether the light is red or green on 8 Mile Road. Is that what you're saying?
Based off of if it was safe for pedestrians to walk across 8 Mile.
All right. How do you, as I said, how do you know the two are correlated? How are you able to show that one is correlated to the other?
The traffic control device on 8 Mile wouldn't illuminate green if the pedestrian signal was illuminated, say to walk across 8 Mile.
How do you know that?
That's what we did the study to make sure.
So at the time of the accident, what was the pedestrian light doing vis-a-vis people walking across 8 Mile Road? You were able to determine the exact point of impact of the accident, what the pedestrian lights were doing?
Not the exact point of impact. We were able to determine the color of the light at the time of the crash.
The color of the light through the walk or the don't walk?
For the pedestrians, yeah.
So at the time of the crash, what are you saying that the pedestrian lights were doing?
I have to look at my report.
Oh, sure.
Specific answer. The light switched off, and 17 seconds later, the red Dodge Challenger traveling westbound came out, then goes to the light. So 17 seconds after. What? So it's for traffic to cross trail line turn off. So once traffic for trail line, the pedestrian crosswalk for trail line turned off 17 seconds later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when the Dodge Challenger entered the intersection, which meant if it was safe for pedestrians to cross the trail line, then trail line would have had the north and southbound light would have been green. But the eastbound light would have been red.
But aren't we looking at what, I thought we were looking at what the pedestrian light was doing for people crossing 8 Mile Road.
This is the light, the pedestrian crosswalk for a trail line. My report states trail line.
I'm gonna say we weren't on Cherry Line, they were on 8 Mile Road.
The drivers were on 8 Mile Road. The pedestrian crosswalk was for trail line.
Yeah, okay. So your testimony is that based upon your observation of the crosswalks, that you say you could see at the time of the accident?
That was captured in green light.
Okay, but does the green light?
Yeah.
Green light also, you say the green light also captures the accident itself, correct? Or not?
Yes,
Okay, did you see that with your own eyes? Did you watch the video and the green light video, and it actually shows the accident itself in 8 Mile Road? That's your testimony.
if I have to refresh, it's been since September, so if you don't mind if I review.
I don't know. My question is, did you actually observe the accident on the green light video?
Yes,
Okay. And you're saying at the same time that you saw the accident, you also saw the pedestrian light for crossing 8 Mile Road?
cherry line.
But the accident didn't happen in Cherry Lawn, it happened in 8 Mile Road. So you did not see what the pedestrian light was doing insofar as people being able to cross 8 Mile Road at the time of the accident, correct?
To cross 8 miles, to cross cherry.
Right, I'm saying at the time of the accident, you were able to determine what the light was doing for people crossing Cherry Lawn, but you were not able to determine what the pedestrian light was doing at the time of the accident for people wanting to cross 8 Mile Road, correct?
Correct.
So you're determining then what the light was doing for people on Cherry Lawn, then, not on 8 Mile Road.
Correct.
So you really don't know what the light was doing in 8 Mile Road. You're just speculating.
We're basing the light for traffic on 8 Mile based off of the crosswalk for traffic crossing cherry line.
Is it possible that the thing's off calibration, you know? Now you're extrapolating from looking at the crosswalk going across Cherry Lawn, that the light was red and for traffic on 8 Mile Road at the time of the accident. As a matter of fact, it was red for 8 seconds. That's what you said in your report, correct?
Correct.
But that's based on an estimate, correct?
It's based off the light study and the light study on.
Did you do this study yourself? Did you have assistance?
I believe I responded to the area with,
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I believe I had assistance.
Who assisted you?
You allow me to refresh, I can.
Of course.
And then this, the officers that responded to the location for the study with me in my report.
Let me ask you
is
this.
listed in investigative.
Let me ask you, you say at the end of your report conclusion that the light was red for 8 seconds for people on 8 Mile Road. Your conclusion in the report was the light was red 8 seconds before the crash. Isn't that what you have in the report?
Yes,
Who concluded that?
it was based off of my study.
So you made that conclusion,
Yes,
nobody else.
yes.
When I asked you, did you have assistance in this investigation? You say yes, but you don't remember which officers?
I would have to look at the investigative report to determine who all responded to the crash with me. I didn't list them in my report.
But you were the one who was in charge of this, determining this, correct?
Correct.
All right, that's all I have.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just a few questions. How do you pronounce your last name?
Dr.
Dr. Officer. Would it be fair to say you were only, as it regards your traffic light study, investigating 2 vehicles, correct?
Can you repeat?
As it regards your traffic light study, you were only investigating 2 vehicles, correct?
Correct.
The Ford Escape, correct?
Correct.
And also the Dodge Challenger, correct?
Yes.
No other vehicles?
I was investigating the crash.
Okay. Well, the crash happened between the Dodge Challenger and also the Ford Escape, correct?
Correct.
Okay. No other vehicles were involved in the crash as regarded that scene at 8 Mile and Cherry Line on that date, correct?
No other vehicles collided.
Okay. No other vehicles collided, meaning crashed.
Correct.
Okay. Other than the Ford Escape and the Dodge Challenger.
Correct.
Okay. Is it a fair statement that your study reached some conclusions, correct? Correct. And that conclusion was that the light at Cherry Line and 8 Mile had been run by a certain vehicle, correct?
Correct.
And that vehicle wasn't a Monte Carlo, correct?
I would have to review my report to see if I listed any other vehicle.
Sure, go ahead.
I didn't list any other vehicles in my report.
Okay, and those conclusions that some other vehicle ran the light at 8 Mile and Cherry Line was based on your traffic study, correct?
Correct.
And also the green light video, is that correct?
Correct.
Which, from my understanding, you somehow used in conjunction with your traffic light study, correct?
Correct.
What's the question?
I have no further questions, Jeff. Thank you. Because we have no other, witnesses.
No witnesses on behalf of Mr. Roberts, right?
Nor Mr. Lipston.
Judge, we asked for a bind over on all of the accounts relevant to each of the defendants concerning Mr. Lipscomb. Well, we'll talk about count one as homicide, murder, second degree. People believe we've shown that there was a deceased individual by here, Lipscomb. We that has been shown through the testimony of his mother as well as the medical examiner's report. I think the key to murder in the second degree here is there is willful disregard of the likelihood and actual tendency that said act would cause death. In this particular case, Mr. Lipscomb is driving this vehicle. Your testimony from Mr. Isho here, there was him, there was also race. He described the mooring of that vehicle, the mooring might be more wider. It seems the vehicle was raced down 8 Mile. This was in the afternoon. People can say it was 45, if I remember correctly, but we later learned that vehicle was going approximately 100 miles per hour, disregards red light. There were 3 children in the back. These children were not, well, it doesn't appear that they were adequately secured in the video based on the vehicle. Based on the testimony of the mother that they had a child seated. He was the youngest at home, but he was too big for that seat. There was a booster in the back, and only a booster in the back. We had children that were not secured in the back. We know that the youngest child was deceased as a result of this accident. We believe that the behavior of the defendant driving as well as his co-conspirator in this race rises to the level of a homicide in the second degree. Kind of hand in hand with that, judge, is reckless driving causing death. That is essentially the same as individuals, except in this particular case, we want to disregard for safety of persons or vehicles on the highway, in this case, 8 Mile. Again, for all the same reasons, the people believe that the murder in the second degree. Let's skip 3, 4, and 5 for a moment. Go to 6, 7, and 8 in this particular case. These are the other young woman, Ms. Allen, who is in the Ford Escape struck by Mr. Lipscomb, as well as the 2 other children with the injuries that are outlined. I think all of them have injuries that would be considered an impairment of bodily function. Just losing consciousness is considered an impairment of bodily function. It was the number of items, both from the mother and from Ms. Allen, as far as their actual injuries. And again, this drag racing down 8 Mile. And then afternoon of the 4th, we believe rises to a level of 1 willful and wanton disregard for the safety of other persons. 3, 4, and 5 are exclusive to Mr. Lipscomb because they're child abuse. You have to have care, custody, and control of the parent of said child. Clearly, Mr. Roberts is not, based on any testimony, why he is not included. But we believe he did cause serious physical harm to the child through that reckless driving. There are 3 counts, 1 for the deceased, 2 for the other 2 children that were his. We know from testimony from the children's mother that Mr. Lipscomb was driving. He seemed to be minimizing, but he stated to her he was driving those children down the road. Testimony she gave speaking to Mr. Roberts, he uses, talking to her, that he used road race in the vehicle. And obviously, these are statements that only ask the court to use against the particular person who stated them. We believe that there's probable cause for all 8 counts in this information. And Judge, just as a side note, Miss Allen's name is wrong, frankly, in the information. It should be Patricia Allen, I think it's Allen. So if the court finds over on that, I'd be asking for the minute. Correct. First name.
Taking into account all the testimony here, I would agree that counts 2, all the counts against me, counts 2 through 8 raise a question of fact. It's really, well, there's a lot of issues here. There's not, do we know that they were drag racing for sure? I mean, that really goes to the issue of willful and wanton. Do we know that? I mean, there's a testimony of the one gentleman, Mr. Yusho, he thinks they were drag racing. I really didn't get into the issue of whether he had any training or anything, the court wasn't going to allow me to go there. But that was his opinion. I worked for a car lot, therefore I think they were drag racing. As opposed to just 2 cars driving fast on 8 Mile Road. I think the testimony about the child seat was somewhat unclear as to which child was in which seat, if any, whether the deceased child, we have to talk about murder charge, whether the deceased child was in her child seat or not. That would be an issue. But it really wasn't clear here whether the deceased child was in the child seat or not. And of course, we have 2 experts, one talking about the traffic light study, well, that is what it is, and then the other, that was his conclusion. I'm really still not clear on how he came to the conclusion by looking at the pedestrian light going across Cherry Lawn. He could tell what the light at 8 Mile Road was doing. I'm still not clear on that. He explained that fully. Then the other officer, Warner, talked about the estimate of the speed of the car based on the speed of both vehicles, but particularly my client's vehicle. Just by downloading the black box of his computer, really didn't have any insight insofar as, well, he talked about margin of error, but he couldn't say for sure that was 100% accurate. He's just relying on the fact that, well, the black box must be accurate. And I realize we're here at an exam. And certainly with the count 1 raises it to a higher level, not only just gross negligence, but we're going beyond that with second degree with willful and wanton disregard. My position would be, we don't know which child was in what seat, and whether or not they were drag racing or not, that the evidence is insufficient to rise to the level of second degree. So I would specifically object to a bind over on count 1, second degree murder, Judge.
Your Honor, I too, on behalf of Mr. Roberts, would object to a bind over on all counts, Judge. My client is charged in count 1, count 2, count 6, count 7 and 8. Judge, all of those counts, individually and collectively, are missing one critical element. proximal cause, causation, any type of crash as it regards Mr. Roberts, any type of wanton action other than a situation of a red light that was run by someone else. I believe the testimony is, Judge, that it was some type of communication, and that Mr. Roberts couldn't even go past 75 miles per hour. He had to slow down. Some other car was swerving in front of him. Some other car crashed into another car, Judge. As you can see from the video, Judge, which is interesting, you see the red car in front, and then you see the second car following behind him, not racing, but following behind the car, with the lead car causing all of the testimony, all of the data, all of the basis of the studies as it regards this crash, not the Monte Carlo. Not only that, Judge, even if you want to take it from the aspect of maybe the argument of intent, obviously there was no intent as it regards Mr. Roberts, or as it regards the second-degree murder, and as it regards the reckless driving causing serious impairment or death. In this instance, Judge, without the causation, their claims fail, understanding that it's a critical element, understanding it's clear, there's no data to prove that there was any type of, there may have been at some high speed, but obviously there was some type of governor on that speed to stop it at some point before this accident or incident happened, which involved another individual's vehicle and the Ford Escape. So understanding that, Judge, we would ask for the court, based on the testimony, that did not indicate or prove any type of involvement as far as causation, which is critical to all of the elements or all of the charges against Mr. Roberts. We would ask that the court dismiss those charges going forward for lack of the state of Michigan meeting their burden. Thank you.
You agree with those?
Takes two to race, Judge.
Well, having heard the testimony, the argument finds as follows. We first heard from Mr. Ishel, and on 9/4/20, 8 Mile and Cherry Lawn, he observed two cars racing. He was at work at the used car dealership. Two cars were going eastbound. He heard the noise and acceleration from the vehicles. He saw them from approximately 20 seconds. Then went over the horizon in the road. He then heard tires squeal and the bang and saw the smoke from a crash. He called 911. We heard from Ms. Allen, who testified on 9/4/20 that she was initially going westbound on 8 miles. She then made a turn to go to the eastbound traffic. From that point, she woke up in the hospital. Was told her car was in an accident. She had several injuries, broken arm in 2 places, blood in her lungs, etc. We heard from Mr. Darnell, who testified she gave birth to 3 children. And all those children are also the defendant Lipston's children. That on 9/4/2020, that he was driving, as she described, a burgundy Dodge Challenger with the paper plate in the back window, which was in the Exhibit 2 and 3, that she received a telephone call, and that, well, before she received it, she talked about having in Mr. Linson's, defendant Linson's car, he only had a booster seat that McHale used. she received a call that she went to the scene. From driving at the scene, she saw Makai, who was lying on the sidewalk. She didn't see her other two kids. She went to the hospital with Makai. She next saw Mikhail a little later that day at Children's Hospital when they brought him in. Makai had back and spine injuries. Part of the intestines had removed. Appendix was removed. Had a fractured wrist, and possibly some type of brain injury. Ella had a wrist fracture, and then she also had to end up going to the morgue to identify her youngest son, or their youngest son, the hair. And she spoke to the defendant on the night of the accident, who testified he was in fact driving to go see his mother, said that he was not speeding or racing. Talked to him 3 to 4 days later, again, said he wasn't speeding or racing, but he was doing less than 60 miles per hour. As she knows, defendant Roberts, and that's a cousin. She saw him come to the scene of the accident. He came back to get something out of his phone. A few days later, he talked to her. He told her that he was on 8 Mile. And he was apologizing and very sorry, but while he was on 8 Mile in Myers, the defendant Lipston pulled up. They talked about racing. His car wouldn't go over 75 miles per hour. And then Lipston swerved in front of him, then swerved back and hit the lady's car. He grabbed the 2 kids and took them to the hospital. His statement is only being used against himself, Ronald Roberts, but not used the statement against the defendant. Also, with medical exam reports, the med examiner's report and the medical records for both the children and the and Miss Allen. American Sergeant Todd of the fatal squad, who was rated as a expert and check out the right one. No, Todd was not the expert. Todd was part of the fatal squad. She went to the accident scene where she viewed the red Dodge Charger and the white Ford Escape. Identify the photos of the Escape, the Charger. Identified, talked to defendant Roberts, who identified himself as a witness, that he was in the Monte Carlo following the Dodge, stopped and took 2 children to the hospital, and at the time was very upset. Looked inside the Dodge, there was 1 booster seat. We covered video from the hair salon and green light video from the liquor store. Posted speed on 8 Mile in that area is 40 miles per hour. And there's a traffic light right there where the accident occurred. When we talked to Sergeant Paul Warner, also a fatal squad, was declared an expert in crash data retrieval. And on 9/4/20, investigated that accident, got search warrants for the Challenger and Escape. Downloaded the black box of each. Bottom line in regards to the Ford Escape was going approximately 19.9 miles, and there's a 4% error rate on the speedometer. And that the occupant was seatbelted. As to the black box on the Dodge Challenger, the speed 1 second prior to the incident, which is the accident, the collision between the Challenger and the Ford Escape. Vehicle was traveling 99 miles per hour. 5 seconds prior, 95 miles an hour. At one point during this, he attempted to make a course correction, turning the steering wheel 42 degrees. There's no details regarding seat belt uses. Foot did come off the accelerator and the brake pedal was applied. We also talked to Officer Lajara, the fatal squad, testified he he reviewed the green light video, downloaded and stored it, and did a light study of the light signal. He did the light signal crosswalk on Sherry Lawn at 8 Mile, which, based on how the Sherry Lawn at 8 Mile is the one also correlated to the light on 8 Mile. But you can't have them have them saying different things, and there's no evidence to the contrary. So the light, based on that study of the light on Sherry Lawn, showed that the light on 8 Mile was in fact red when the Challenger went through it and when my Carlo went through it. This is a probable cause. I mean, there's nothing I can say that's gonna take away any of the pain these folks are going through. Mr. Lipston lost a child, and I can't imagine the pain he's going through. Mr. Roberts, this is his family too. And I understand that. But their acts here, they acted together. They were racing and down 8 Mile, which was a very heavily driven and populated street. At very high rates of speed. Even if Mr. Roberts' car couldn't go over 75, the speed limit is 40. He's doing 75. Don't say a word. Don't shake your head. Because you do anything in here, I will lock you up. And you'll spend the rest of this time waiting in the Wayne County Jail. Problem is, they didn't think about what they were doing. They're young. And when you're young, you do stupid things. Believe me, I know that. I did stupid things when I was young. But these stupid things cause people to get seriously hurt and cause a child to die. Based upon that, court finds that the felonies enumerated in the complaining warrant did in fact occur in the city of Detroit. Probable cause exists to charge both the defendants and to be both found over the Wayne County District Court's Criminal Division for arraignment on the information, which will be April 13th, 2021 at 9 o'clock.
First, shows you retrieve the exhibits.
Yes, sir.
The cord, I think I put the cord back. You got your cord. You want to look like you had it especially last.
Twin times.
He should be coming out in a few minutes.
I'll bring the book with me.
Thank you, everyone.
You too.
All right, take care now. Thank you, sir. Have a nice evening.
You too.
Ooh, that was long.
Yeah.
Judge, where are you supposed to do arraignment?
Oh, he texted me back and said, I didn't need to do it.
Oh.
King's gonna be on Zoom tomorrow?
Are we doing
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're not gonna do it.
Oh, well,
They're just gonna get another date.
Oh, I just wanted to put, sorry, I took my CD